Good morning, everybody. Welcome to America, the U.S. Embassy's American Center. Thank you very much, everybody. My name is Maharani as your e-guide for today, and I am so excited to welcome you to a very special event today, Education USA Pre-Departure Orientation. Yes. I can see all of you being so excited about today's event, whether you're just a few weeks away from departure or still finalizing your checklist. This event is here to help you feel confident, informed, and also a bit more hyped for what's happening ahead, maybe, especially this Saturday morning. From student visas to academic life, culture shock to support new networks, we've got it all covered. And today you will also meet fellow students and also future peers as well as incredible speakers who are ready to share practical tips and also personal stories to guide you along the way. And here's what you can expect from the sessions of today's event. You will be hearing more regarding international student orientation and preparation, adapting and finding your ways in the US, and applying for US student visa and maintaining student visa status. And each session will be guided by a dedicated Education USA advisor who will guide you the conversation and also your questions. If you're joining us via online, don't worry. You can submit your questions and also your comments through our social media platform throughout the session. And before we begin the program, let us first welcome the opening remarks that will be delivered from the Public Diplomacy Officer of the U.S. Embassy in Jakarta. Please give a welcome to John Slover.
Good morning, everybody. Ibu-ibu, bapa-bapa, semua mahasiswa, esteemed Vice Minister, and all of our friends who are joining us online. Selamat pagi. Okay, we're going to be giving you guys a lot of information today. And so to kick things off today, I want to ask for some information from the people who are here in the room. If you are, in just a couple of weeks or months, going to be studying in the United States, please raise your hand. Woo! Yes, thank you. Okay. Ibu Bapa, pergi kemana? If you are going to, let's see, New York. Okay, excellent. I studied in New York. If you are going to California. Woo! A lot of California. If you are going to Colorado. No, okay. I come from Colorado, so I just had to check. So, as I said, I come from Colorado. I grew up in the same house all the way until I was 16 years old. And then I went to college. I traveled thousands of miles to New York City, and it changed my life. Meeting new people, being in a completely new place, having new experience, trying a lot of new food, but also the classes that I took really showed me how the world works in a way that I had never seen before. In fact, I loved traveling so much that when I finished my degree in New York, I went even further. And I did a degree in Shanghai, China. And that changed my life even more because now I had the opportunity to meet a world that was completely unlike my own, to learn a new culture, new experience, a new language. And it set me on the path that I am on today. I would not be here as a diplomat. I would not be here in Indonesia if I hadn't had the opportunity to study overseas and learn about all of the different cultures and people in the world. I am so happy and honored to be here with you today. And I am also a little bit jealous because it's an amazing time and I hope you enjoy every minute of it. Today, we're going to be giving you a lot of information about how to make the most out of the years you have in the United States. Going to learn how to study, going to learn how to make sure that you're safe and doing everything appropriately so that you don't run into any problems that shouldn't be there, and also how to connect with people and really build a life during your time there. So there's going to be a lot of information. To kick things off, I also want to introduce our next speaker, who is recently arrived in Indonesia as the Chargé d'Affaires, Ambassador Peter Haymond. Ambassador Haymond arrived in Indonesia and arrived in Jakarta in June, on June 15th, 2025. But before this, he had a wealth of experience all over the world. He served as the United States ambassador to Laos. He served as the Deputy Chief of Mission and Chargé d'Affaires of the United States in Bangkok, Thailand. He has had a number of very high-level positions in Washington, D.C., and most recently came from the Daniel K. Inouye Asia Pacific Center for Security Studies, where he served as a senior diplomatic fellow. And so I will now stop talking, but really so thrilled to be here with everybody. And now I'll turn it over to Ambassador Haymond.
Selamat pagi semua. Good morning from Jakarta and good evening to those joining from the United States. I want to begin by thanking our friends from the Indonesian government, including the Indonesian Embassy in Washington, D.C., our university partners, and especially the students and alumni who are joining us. Terima kasih banyak for sharing your time and experience. Congratulations to each of the students on your decision to pursue higher education in the United States. This is no small achievement for you personally, and also for the broader relationship between the United States and Indonesia. The U.S.-Indonesia Comprehensive Strategic Partnership is a strong friendship built on shared priorities and a commitment to create a stronger, safer, and more prosperous future for both nations. At the heart of this partnership is people, relationships between Indonesians and Americans that form the foundation for all of the good work we do together in the region and beyond. Education remains a cornerstone of this partnership, serving as a bridge that connects our people, our institutions, our companies, and our ideas. As you prepare for this exciting chapter, I encourage you to embrace the values of collaboration and excellence that are key to the educational experience in the United States. Take full advantage of the opportunities to learn, to grow, and to connect with people. Gunakan waktumu sebaik-baiknya. Because as you embark on your journey, it's important to remember that you are not just going to study. You are effectively going as Indonesia's ambassadors to the United States. You will build lasting friendships and relationships that deepen the collaboration between our two nations, in addition to your own relationships. And you will also bring back knowledge to create companies, to serve in government, to influence the next generation of your dynamic country. And we hope you will return from your studies excited to help shape the future of our relationship. Always remember, you are not alone on this journey. The U.S. Embassy, EducationUSA, and your future academic institutions are here to support you every step of the way. In closing, I want to express my heartfelt congratulations once again. I wish you all the best as you pursue your studies, and I look forward to seeing the incredible contributions you will make to Indonesia, the United States, and the world. Thank you, and selamat belajar.
Thank you very much to Pak John, along with Chargé d'Affaires Peter Haymond, for the warm welcome as well as the words of encouragement. And moving on to the next agenda, we are very pleased to have the Deputy Minister of Higher Education, Science and Technology of the Republic of Indonesia. Joining us virtually, please give a welcome to Professor Stella Christie.
Good morning and warm greetings. I just want to check whether you guys can hear my voice well, because I'm doing this online. Okay, I see some nodding. Thank you. Very excited that and a great pleasure, of course, to be here with all of you today, albeit virtually. I would have definitely come myself had I been in Indonesia, but at the moment I am actually in Guiyang, China, currently representing Indonesia for the China-ASEAN education meeting. Dear students, of course, here I see a number of my colleagues, Ambassador Haiman, very glad to have you in Indonesia. I haven't had the chance to meet with you personally. I hope we'll be able to do so soon. John, glad to see you. I think Anna is on the audience. Good morning, Anna. Yeah, hi. And I think this is such a great session and opportunity that the U.S. Embassy prepared for our Indonesian students. Thank you for all the efforts and uh, the, the systematic activity that you are providing. I wish something like this took place, 26 years ago, but that was not the case when I was about to depart for the United States. I still remember very, very vividly, 26 years ago, boarding on the plane from Jakarta to Boston. I arrived in Boston with just one suitcase. It wasn't even such a big suitcase. That's all the belongings I have. I never set foot in the United States ever in my life. So my first day in the United States is my first day of college. So that was really amazing. A friend of mine picked me up. She was studying at Babson College, my very good friend, Phoenix Supangkat. If she hears me, I think this is something that I remember to this day. And many of you will experience this because your friends, Indonesian friends, will also be your support in the United States. So I still remember what you are experiencing today, and except that I didn't have much support then in terms of like what you need to expect. So consider yourself extremely lucky to have the support from the U.S. Embassy. I want to begin my remark by, of course, the most important thing, which is to congratulate all of you, the students today who are, whether in person or joining online. You are among the select few who have earned the opportunity to study at world-class institution in a great country, and that is really not a small feat. Congratulations. I'm sure that you all have worked very hard and very dedicated and have a lot of ambition that brought you to this exciting moment that you'll be able to study in the United States. You really are a select few. Today in Indonesia, there are 9 million students, university students, and the last number that I heard in total, both undergraduates and postgraduates in the United States at the moment is only roughly of 8,000 of them from Indonesia. So you really are among the select fews. And because you are among the select fews, I would like to remind and share with you a number of maybe tips, but also aspiration, because as Ambassador Heyman just said just now, he was jealous. I feel the same, because when I look back at my time in the United States, especially during the time that in the beginning and throughout like my studies there, I both study and work in the United States. This was really, really a wonderful moment that gave me so much things in life. So I want to remind you that studying abroad is more than simply earning a degree. So it's certainly not just earning a degree, though you should earn your degree, okay? It truly is about broadening your perspectives, embracing challenges, building friendship, and growing. This is probably the most important thing, growing yourself, both intellectually and personally. For those of you who are in undergraduate, are about to enter the undergraduate education, you are bound to receive a very, very special and, in my personal opinion, still the best form of education. And that is what's called the liberal arts education. What does the liberal art mean? The liberal arts means that you are expected to have, yes, a very focus of interest. But the liberal arts also ask that every individual, in deciding their focus of interest, to first broaden their perspectives, challenge themselves to learn new things that you may not actually know to even exist. And this opportunity of not having to decide your major right away at undergraduates, it is one of the most valuable gifts of American education for undergraduates. Do not waste them. Use them very, very wisely. And by do not wasting them, I'm sure many of you, for the undergraduates who are about to go undergrads, you excel in certain areas when in high school. But do not think that you must actually continue on this pathway forever. If later on, through exploring other things, other studies and other fields, other activities, you decided that the current pathway really is your pathway, then that's wonderful. And you know that it really is your pathway and your passion from after exploring other things. But you also don't have to be committed to what you currently are good at, okay? What the United States really teach me is there are newness and there are opportunities. And you have the opportunities to embrace all the new things that you may never know before. I reflect on my own personal journey when I was about to study in the United States. I was really good in economics in high school. And I was extremely sure, since I got into Harvard, and this was very, very lucky, okay, that I would be an economist. And everybody, my family, was very supportive, very expecting that I will return as economist, right? But after 2 years at Harvard, through many coincidences, but some strategic choices, which is to take classes that I never thought I would take before, I changed my mind completely, and I wanted to be a scientist. I never really thought about being a scientist, but the liberal arts education really exposed me to this new thing that I never really thought before. And that really is a gift of American education, which you rarely can get these opportunities to explore yourself and find your true passion, which may be different from your current passion at the moment. So don't waste this opportunity. For those of you who are going for master's degree, postgraduates, you are already focused. But even in that focus areas of studies that you are doing, I found the United States is extremely conducive, especially in their universities, to be multidisciplinary, to really still look at other fields and other areas in enriching your focus area of study. If we talk about universities, I have done it all in American universities. I have been an undergraduate student at Harvard. I have been a graduate student at Northwestern, and I also have been a faculty member, even a tenured faculty member at Swarthmore College. So I've experienced all the possible things of being in the United States, in the American universities. And in all these positions that I've had, really what I said just now, the opportunities to learn new things remain one of the strongest and best quality that I can get from the United States educational landscape. So do use them, okay? Don't waste those opportunities. And what I mean by opportunities is not only classes, because this is really what's wonderful about American educational landscape. In the universities, there are so many opportunities. They range from scholarship opportunities, study abroad opportunities, and work opportunities. I think I'm still correct, but Anna and John, correct me if I'm wrong, that we are still allowed to work in the university as students. Make use of those opportunities. Those really enrich you personally and intellectually, because the work that you do really inform you about the things that you like, the things that you don't like, and the things that you would be able to do that you may not know before. So don't forget about liberal arts education. Make use of them. Really breathe in them and learn from everybody around you. And don't close yourself to new opportunities, to even things that you may not know before. You know, some of my classes, my favorite class at Harvard, there are two of them, and both of them are literature classes. The first one is Jewish literature class at Harvard, and the second one is Polish literature class. I didn't become a poet, not good enough to be that, but I have to tell you that studying those literature is immensely useful in my work currently as a vice minister. That requires some other session to tell you why studying literature and languages is extremely useful for my current work as a vice minister. So my first point to you is really embrace these opportunities, this newness. Okay. My second point to you is that you are representing Indonesia. You are ambassadors of Indonesia. And you don't become ambassadors by attending meetings, by saying that you are from Indonesia, but you will be ambassadors in a more of a true sense, because in everything that you do, in everything that you say, people there in your surroundings will see and will form opinions about the Indonesian people. This shouldn't make you afraid, but this should give you confidence. Confidence to not be shy in and proud about your own culture, about your what you know, but also to give you confidence to want to know the things that you don't know. Because by creating these friendships, by wanting to learn new things, other people in the United States will take you, Indonesian ambassadors, as friends, as people who want to learn from each other. And this truly is an important thing. There are also opportunities. You know what's really wonderful in the United States? There are opportunities to directly be immersed in your Indonesian culture, where you might not even be thinking about doing that in Indonesia. Sometimes being far away from your country sharpens your pride and your feeling for your own culture. And if you feel called to that, don't be shy. As a faculty at Swarthmore College, I re-embrace my childhood training as a Balinese dancer and join the gamelan. Swarthmore has a gamelan. Those of you who are in universities, there are actually many gamelan groups. Last I checked, there are about 50 of them in the United States. So don't be shy about joining them should you feel called. Okay. For yourself, being ambassadors also mean that you will be able to build networks. So make use of these opportunities to build friendships across people in the United States that come from various backgrounds, from various geographic locations. United States is not a monolithic country. And this is what I actually really learned a lot from the United States, that you can really that there are subcultures, and these wonderful subcultures really teach you the variance and the diversity and the richness of the diversity. Diversity is a word that I really learned from my education in the United States. And that is something that you can contribute a lot to the diversity of your community in your university. But it is also something that you can learn from a lot. This diversity is not only diversity of language, diversity of culture, but first and foremost, the diversity of minds. And the diversity of minds is what can really make you a strong and intellectual person who will bring back those diversity to your own country and contribute to the development of Indonesia based on the friendship and the knowledge that you get from education in the United States. I really encourage you to be curious. There are really a lot of new things that you can learn from the United States, from people around you, and from people around you, and from the opportunities that are created by the people around you. You will build networks, I'm sure. And just to add the fun, when I was at Harvard, I really love dancing. I'm a dancer since I was small, a balliness dancer, as I said. But at Harvard at that time, there was no balliness dancing, although there is the gamelan group is only at MIT. But at Harvard, there was a really big dance opportunity to teach children about dance. This is a really big activity that's called City Step, and it's still there at Harvard until now, and it also is at UPenn and several other universities. And just for fun to tell you what is the kind of network that I have from joining City Step and really spending a lot of my time at City Step is, I know you will not guess this, and this is for fun to tell you the network, Natalie Portman. The very Natalie Portman. This was a friend of mine at City Step. We together teach dance for kids when we were undergraduates. So just to tell you that you will never know who your friendship of. To be perfectly honest, I didn't know who Natalie Portman was. I was friends with her, and because I was not so bahasa Indonesianya gaul, ya, I didn't know who she was because she didn't use the name Natalie Portman. Her name Natalie, but not Portman. Until one day, I actually saw her face in a magazine, and I was asking her, "Is that you?" And she looked at me and was like, "Yes." And finally, later, I found out like who Natalie Portman was. I'm trying to, so forgive my informality a little bit, but I think that's also what's really wonderful from the United States. It's not about the formality, it's about what truly you can get, what truly you can learn. I truly am envious of you. You have such wonderful time ahead of you, and you should use the best of them. Be open-minded, be curious. Think about building network, think about trying new things, and really go after all those opportunities that will be spread around you. This is only a start. You manage to go to the United States and you will study there. And again, remember your select few. Make the best use of these opportunities. And when you can build yourself, you will be building our beloved country, Indonesia. So congratulations, good luck, and don't be deterred when there are difficult things. There will be difficult moments. I experienced many of them when I was a student, when I was a graduate student, and when I was a faculty. There will be many difficult moments. But it's also, remember that the network that you build will be your support, and that should give you many strengths ahead. Congratulations, and you can do it.
All right, thank you very much to Professor Stella Christie for the wonderful opening remarks. And also thank you very much to sharing your personal story. It was very wonderful. And I would like to kindly invite you to remain here with us for just a minute because we're going to have a group picture session. With that, I would like to invite again Bapak John Slover, the Public Diplomacy Officer of the U.S. Embassy here in Jakarta, along with our speakers for today, as well as our Education USA advisors as moderators for today's session. Everyone, please come up on stage as we're going to take a group picture together. And I would also like to invite Ibu Ana as the Public Diplomacy Officer of the U.S. Embassy here in Jakarta to come up on stage. And all the speakers for today, Winnie Yiwu, Misbah Burhanudin, Himyar Arsenio, and also Tara Subramaniam, along with our advisors, Education USA advisors, Santika Salim, Caroline Darmanto, Muhammad Iqbal, and Mei Latupono, as well as our representative from PERMIAS Nasional, Felice, and also Gizelle. Thank you very much, everybody. Everyone can please remain seated. Back again. Okay, thank you very much for this group picture session, and thank you very much for Professor Stella for staying with us to take a group picture together with us. And now, are you ready to begin this exciting journey? Yeah, I would like to hear again your spirit. Are you ready? Ready? Maybe some of you live in this Saturday morning, but yeah, as the time will goes, I'm sure that everyone will get more hype up. And to kick off this first session of our Education USA pre-departure orientation, we'll be hearing from Ibu Diah Ayu Maharani, BDS, DDS, Ph.D., the Education and Cultural Attache of KBRI, Washington, D.C.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yang saya hormati rekan-rekan dari Kedutaan Besar Amerika Serikat di Jakarta dan perwakilan dari Amerika Serikat lainnya, rekan-rekan Amerika, para tamu yang saya hormati, dan juga para mahasiswa yang saya banggakan yang akan melanjutkan studi di Amerika Serikat. Terima kasih sudah mengundang perwakilan KBRI DC pada pre-orientation departure ini. Izinkan saya untuk menyampaikan informasi dalam bahasa Indonesia, bahasa persatuan kita. Perkenalkan, nama saya Rani, saat ini Attache Pendidikan dan Kebudayaan atau yang biasa disingkat Adikbud di KBRI Washington DC. Saya bertugas selama hampir 3 tahun dan akhir Januari 2026 saya akan kembali ke Indonesia. Latar belakang. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yang saya hormati rekan-rekan dari Kedutaan Besar Amerika Serikat di Jakarta dan perwakilan dari Amerika Serikat lainnya, rekan-rekan Amerika, para tamu yang saya hormati, dan juga para mahasiswa yang saya banggakan yang akan melanjutkan studi di Amerika Serikat. Terima kasih sudah mengundang perwakilan KBRI DC pada pre-orientation departure ini. Izinkan saya untuk menyampaikan informasi dalam bahasa Indonesia, bahasa persatuan kita. Perkenalkan, nama saya Rani, saat ini Attache Pendidikan dan Kebudayaan atau yang biasa disingkat Adikbud di KBRI Washington DC. Saya bertugas selama hampir 3 tahun dan akhir Januari 2026 saya akan kembali ke Indonesia. Latar belakang saya adalah dokter gigi. Saya guru besar di Fakultas Kedokteran Gigi Universitas Indonesia. Mohon maaf, saya tidak dapat hadir secara langsung di Jakarta maupun menyampaikan informasi ini secara live. Salam hormat dari Bapak Sade Bimantara, PLT Duta Besar KBRI Washington DC. Pertama-tama, saya ingin mengucapkan selamat kepada para mahasiswa penerima beasiswa LPDP maupun BIM dan lainnya, dan juga pada semua rekan-rekan yang diterima untuk sekolah di Amerika Serikat. Mungkin saat ini rasanya campur aduk ya, antara bahagia, bangga, namun juga cemas menghadapi ketidakpastian situasi. Namun tentunya dengan doa, khususnya doa dari kedua orang tua, perjalanan studi kalian bisa diniatkan dari awal dengan baik. Insya Allah akan dipermudah prosesnya oleh Tuhan Yang Maha Esa. Presentasi saya tidak banyak, hanya informasi utama saja yang terkait dengan perwakilan Republik Indonesia di Amerika Serikat. Sebagai latar belakang, berdasarkan data dari Open Doors, dapat dilihat pada tahun ajaran 2023 hingga 2024, jumlah pelajar Indonesia di Amerika Serikat berjumlah 8.348, angka yang cukup besar. Mayoritas adalah mahasiswa S1 sebanyak 45% dan S2, S3 dengan proporsi 29,7%. Dan sebaran utama terdapat di negara bagian California, New York, Washington, Massachusetts, dan juga Illinois. Jadi mungkin bisa dipastikan akan cenderung lebih mudah menemui makanan Indonesia ya di daerah-daerah tersebut. Kemudian selanjutnya yang perlu diketahui adalah lokasi perwakilan Indonesia di Amerika Serikat. KBRI tentu saja posisinya di ibu kota, yaitu di Washington DC, dan kemudian ada 5 konsulat jenderal atau KJRI, yaitu yang pertama di New York, lalu di Chicago, lalu di San Francisco, lalu di Los Angeles, dan Houston. Masing-masing memiliki wilayah kerja, dan wilayah kerja di mana saja itu dapat dicek di web masing-masing perwakilan. Jangan lupa mempertimbangkan perbedaan waktu antar negara bagian di Amerika Serikat. Ada yang Pacific Time, Mountain, Central, dan Eastern Time. Dan juga kalian harus mengetahui kapan adanya Daylight Saving Times, yaitu perubahan waktu yang biasanya di tiap bulan Maret dan November. Pastikan juga kalian memahami karakteristik cuaca di tempat tinggal kalian nanti. Sebisa mungkin setiap hari ngecek tuh perkiraan cuaca supaya nggak salah kostum. Setibanya di Amerika Serikat, jangan lupa untuk melakukan kewajiban lapor diri secara online di web peduli WNI. Ikuti langkah-langkah di web tersebut dan bila kiranya menemui hambatan bisa ditanyakan ke perwakilan terdekat. Berikut nomor telepon maupun email darurat kantor perwakilan Indonesia di Amerika Serikat. Silakan untuk difoto dan kemudian disimpan di HP masing-masing untuk keperluan ke depannya. Mudah-mudahan sudah foto semua ya. Nah, kemudian yang perlu juga dilakukan adalah saran saya follow semua Instagram perwakilan Republik Indonesia. Informasi yang paling cepat itu di-share-nya selain melalui website tapi juga melalui Instagram perwakilan. Silakan di-follow sekarang, mungkin bisa di-search akun-akun berikut. Ada Indonesia in DC untuk KBRI, lalu Indonesia in New York untuk KJRI New York, Indonesia in LA, Indonesia in SF, Indonesia in Chicago, dan juga Indonesia in Houston. Biasanya keterangan-keterangan atau informasi yang relatif cepat itu di-share di Instagram. Pesan selanjutnya yang ingin saya sampaikan adalah selain rajin belajar, mohon berpartisipasi aktif pada kegiatan-kegiatan kebudayaan di kampus masing-masing. Pada dasarnya, perwakilan Indonesia di Amerika Serikat baik KBRI maupun KJRI sangat mendukung kegiatan mahasiswa. Namun memang secara anggaran tentu sangat terbatas, sehingga biasanya yang kami dukung adalah dalam bentuk in-kind. Bila teman-teman nanti membutuhkan pinjaman baju daerah, angklung, atau bendera, atau mungkin logistik sederhana seperti butuh Indomie, 1 box, 2 box masih bisa kami bantu kirimkan ke tempat masing-masing lokasi kalian. Dan juga bisa kami pinjamkan untuk pameran bila diperlukan. Ini contoh di 2025 yaitu PERMIAS Virginia Tech dan PERMIAS di Cornell yang mendapatkan dukungan dari KBRI DC maupun KJRI New York. Kalian bisa bersurat ke Atikbud KBRI DC di email education@embassyofIndonesia.org dan juga silahkan menghubungi fungsi Pensosbud atau penerangan sosial budaya di KJRI di wilayah kalian masing-masing untuk mendapatkan dukungan. Peluang positif lainnya yang mungkin sebagian teman-teman mahasiswa mungkin tertarik adalah berkontribusi dalam mengajarkan bahasa Indonesia di Amerika Serikat. Saat ini jumlah pembelajar yang registrasi untuk belajar bahasa Indonesia di Amerika Serikat secara online itu lebih dari 600 orang. Kedepannya, bila ada yang tertarik untuk bantu kami mengajar bahasa Indonesia, silakan menghubungi bahasa@embassyofIndonesia.org atau bisa juga ke education@embassyofIndonesia.org. Selain itu, mungkin bila ada teman-teman kalian yang tertarik untuk belajar bahasa Indonesia, kalian juga bisa menginformasikan, kami mohon bantuannya bahwa untuk merujuk bahwa di KBRI ada pembelajaran kelas bahasa Indonesia secara gratis. Nah, ini kemudian bisa dicatat saja, mungkin pertanyaan yang relatif sering ditanyakan adalah ketika nanti kalian sudah wisuda, walaupun masih lama ya, dan akan, mungkin nggak lama-lama banget, setahun, 2 tahun, 3 tahun, 4 tahun lagi, dan akan kembali ke Indonesia, biasanya yang diperlukan adalah surat keterangan dari KBDC untuk penyetaraan ijazah luar negeri. Itu kalian bisa email permohonannya ke education@embassyofIndonesia.org, lampirkan ijazah, transkrip nilai, paspor, dan visa yang digunakan selama studi di Amerika Serikat. Kemudian untuk keterangan pindah dan no objection letters untuk memegang visa J1, biasanya mereka teman-teman LPDP yang akan melanjutkan magang di Amerika Serikat bisa mengajukan ke konsular ya, ke konsular DC@embassyofIndonesia.org atau ke KJRI fungsi konsuler perwakilan terdekat dengan posisi kalian. Saya yakin untuk informasi kehidupan sehari-hari di Amerika Serikat akan lebih tepat bila disampaikan oleh teman-teman Awardee maupun alumni LPDP, Mata Garuda, BIM maupun PERMIAS yang akan disampaikan pada sesi-sesi selanjutnya. Akhir kata, atas nama KBRI DC, kami ingin menyampaikan selamat menggapai cita-cita. Semoga studinya di Amerika Serikat berjalan dengan optimal, diberikan kemudahan dan kesehatan paripurna. Jangan lupa selalu berkomunikasi dan mohon doa ya dari kedua orang tua, jangan meninggalkan ibadah. Yang untuk yang Islam jangan meninggalkan sholat 5 waktu. Saya yakin di masing-masing perguruan tinggi ada tempat untuk sholat. Lalu kemudian tetap guyup dan rukun sesama mahasiswa Indonesia dan get as much networking as possible. Serta mohon selalu jaga nama baik tanah air tercinta. Kemudian karena saya tidak dapat menjawab pertanyaan-pertanyaan kalian secara langsung, silahkan email atau WhatsApp saya. Insya Allah pada kesempatan pertama akan saya respon. Silahkan foto atau mungkin dicatat email dan nomor saya berikut. Terima kasih atas perhatiannya yang baik. Kami doakan yang terbaik untuk kalian semua. Sukses selalu. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
All right, that was the presentation from Ibu Diah Maharani, the Education and Cultural Attache of KBRI, Washington, D.C. Hope you find it insightful and helpful as well. And now, moving on to the next session, it will be regarding to international student orientation and preparation. With that, I would like to introduce you to our speaker for this session. She is Winnie Yi Wu, International Program Marketing and Recruitment Specialist of Missouri State University. And in this session, we will have an Education USA advisor who will be guiding us through. And with that, I would like to invite Kasantika Salim to come up on stage.
Check. Good morning. Oh, I think you guys are a bit sleepy. Should we do something fun? So I'm gonna do East Coast, West Coast, and somewhere else in US. Okay, ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3. East Coast, raise your hands. Ooh. Okay. Oh, we got a very good, um, separate crowd here. Okay. West Coast, raise your hands. Oh, it's blending in. Nice. Not East Coast, not West Coast. Oh, thank you, Pak John. All right. Let's do another one. LPDP, Fulbright, and BIM and self-funding. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Fulbright. Woohoo! Okay, Fulbright. We got ada satu kubu gitu. LPDP. Wow, coba Fulbright lagi, jangan mau kalah. Oke, BIM. Tadi aku lihat ada BIM. Ayo dong. Oh, okay, nice on my left. Okay. Self-funding, scholarship from the school. Yes. Even if you haven't get it, you can still get it. So raise your hand now. Okay. All right, let's start. I think that's enough of, refreshing. So, hi, Winnie.
Hi, everybody. Good morning.
Good. Thank you so much. So I think thank you so much first for putting in time. I know we have lots of time difference, right? So yeah, the floor is yours, and we are ready to learn about what we should prepare as an incoming student, incoming international student from you. Thank you so much, Winnie.
Sounds good. Thank you. Good morning again, everybody, and good evening to my colleagues or students who are joining from the United States. And thank you so much, Education USA, for inviting me to present in this session. So my name is Winnie. You can call me Winnie. I go by Winnie. And I work with international students at Missouri State University as a marketing and recruitment specialist. So I was in your shoes many years ago. I was one of the international students who came to the United States and did my master's degree. So I understand this time might be very exciting, but a little bit overwhelming and stressful in some aspects. So I hope through today's session, this will help you feel more prepared for your journey to the United States. Whether you are headed for your undergrads or graduate studies, hope you feel more confident about what to expect before and after you arrive, especially during the first few weeks. So let's go ahead and get started. I do have a presentation, a brief presentation prepared. I'm going to share my screen real quick.
All right. So I want to let you guys know, if you have any questions for Winnie regarding anything she present, you can take note in your phone, and then we have a short Q&A at the end, so you can ask away your questions. So even if you're in the Zoom, you can type in your questions in the chat box, and then our fellow advisor will help us to relay your questions, and we'll do our best to answer your question. Okay? All right, we can see your presentation well, Winnie.
Perfect. Sounds good. Okay. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So this session's topic is international student orientation preparation. I have just a brief agenda for this session. So we'll cover pre-departure preparations, arrival procedures, orientation overview, and adjusting to life in the United States. and some common successful tips and resources that might be helpful for you to know. And then we'll open up the floor for questions. Okay, so before you leave, some key preparation steps, which is to book your flight and plan for your arrivals, right? And now before I hit any of those points here I listed on the slideshow, actually first thing first, you want to make sure you book the flight to the right destination. Now this might sound kind of silly, but it actually happens quite often. Like Missouri State University is located in Springfield, Missouri. But then there are probably 30 plus, more than 30 states in the United States have a town called Springfield. So we did have students who arrived to a different Springfield in another state. So it's always not a fun experience. So want to make sure you book your flight to the right destination. And you also want to make sure you book your flight early enough to be able to arrive on time to attend this new international student orientation. It might be called differently at your institution. It might be called international orientation or international student orientation, but it is the orientation that your school specifically organized for you. And in most of cases, in most of institutions, it is mandatory for all international students to attend. So you want to make sure you be there for that. And the second point is you want to consider your connecting flights and layovers very carefully. Make sure you have enough time for immigration processing at your first U.S. port of entry. So for example, if you're flying to, let's just say, O'Hare International Airport in Chicago at your first U.S. port of entry, you want to consider the potential delay of your previous flight, right? And then you want to consider the waiting time. You have to wait in the line to actually go through the customs. Now, it really depends on the traffic and the locations, the airport, but usually it takes about 1 to 2 hours to go through the customs. Not the interview part, when you actually go talk to the officer and they check in your documents, ask you questions. If everything goes smoothly, it won't take that long, probably 5 to 10 minutes max, if everything goes smoothly. But it's really the waiting in the line, waiting time can take a little while, especially, well, for me, it's usually 1 to 2 hours waiting time. So it really depends on your comfort level. I would be comfortable if there are about 3 to 4 hours gap between my previous and next flights. And some essential documents, you wanted to pack in your carry-on luggage or pack carry-on bag, even your personal bag you carry all the time, would be in your passport and visa, your I-20, CVS receipt, admission letter, financial documents, and the contact info for your school's international office. And if you are arriving late, for example, due to any visa delays or traveling arrangements, you have to arrive late after the semester start date. Bring a proof of the enrollment, your class registration proof is always helpful when you enter the U.S., go through the customs. This doesn't mean you will need all of these documents at the customer. The officer probably won't check all the documents, but it's always good to be prepared to have them with you. And what to pack, some packing essentials. So first I listed climate appropriate clothing. It's summer right now, so most of places in the United States are hot and warm and humid. So it makes things a little bit easy. And then you can always buy some winter clothes while you're here. Just maybe be mindful that to some people, it might be a little bit cold on the airplane or at the airport, or maybe just indoor in the United States in general. So when I travel or I fly, I always have a jacket or sweatshirt with me, just in case, I get cold on the airplane or at the airport. And then some other things you want to carry with you, your phone, chargers, and some prescription medication, if any. And if you do, it's good to have a documentation prescription ready with you as well. And it's always a good idea to bring some cash and small USD dollars or credit card for some, just transportation or food or small purchase when you arrive. And it's the contact information for your school, we previously discussed, and a change of clothing and personal care items, because you really would never know what's going to have to happen when you fly. Sometimes the flight gets canceled, delayed, rescheduled. You have to stay at a hotel or something. So bring another set of clothes or 2 sets of clothes is always a good idea. Okay, and next is the financial readiness. So it depends on your comfort level, I would say. Bring some USD dollars definitely is helpful for your first, few days. For some students, they feel comfortable just bring a couple hundred US dollars, $200, $300 to $500, because they don't want to carry too much cash with them. But for some students, they like to bring a little more, could be a couple thousands, just in case they have to make any payments, and in case their credit card or any card doesn't work when they needed them to. So it really depends. And most of students will open a U.S. bank account when they arrive, and it's definitely doable. It won't be that challenging. I believe they will ask you for your passport, maybe I-20, probably admission letter, I can't remember correctly, and then you can open a U.S. bank account, and then you can deposit all the cash you're carrying with you to your bank account. And you also want to check with your bank before you leave the country and see if your card will work in the U.S. If not, try to open that kind of services so you can use your card or credit card in the United States. And the next one would be to know your tuition payment options. For some schools, they will require a deposit, some don't, and they have different tuition payment deadlines, and they have different ways to pay the tuition. So to understand how and when to pay your tuition fees is really helpful. I believe in most of the schools right now, there is some kind of online payment platform there that are available for you. It's either through Flywire or Pay My Tuition or wire transfer or something else. It's usually very user-friendly. It won't be much difference than you make an online purchase and make a payment online. And in some cases, you can even send a link to your family member, and they can pay your tuition fees back home through that link. So you can always check with your school on those. Okay, so upon arrival in the U.S., so immigration and customs. So when you land in the U.S., we say the CBP, which stands for Customs and Border Protection Officer. They will ask to see your documents. Usually are the documents we have just mentioned, talking about your passport, I-20, all those important documents, which is a really common regular practice process interview. So all you need to do is just to stay calm and confident, because all they wanted to is just to make sure that you are entering the U.S. legally and you're here to study. So I think that's the case for everybody here. So there's nothing to be worried about. And they might ask you some questions like, where are you going? What are you studying? Or why do you choose this school? where will you live, things like that. And just be really honest and answer the questions accordingly. Then I don't think you need to worry about that too much. So it is a good idea to have your school address ready, or even if you don't have a permanent housing assigned already, or yeah. But if you do, it's good to provide those as well. As far as getting to campus, some schools will provide a free airport pickup service. Not all the schools do, so you want to check with them in advance. And if they don't, you can always utilize either airport shuttles or taxis, or some apps like Lyft and Uber to get to your destination. And you do want to make sure that you have your destination address. It's either your temporary housing or your off-campus housing or your on-campus housing address ready with you. And next, I wanted to talk a little bit about the new introduction student orientation. The reason is, we got a lot of questions from students asking, what is this orientation about? Do I need to go? Can I skip? So the international student orientation is, like I mentioned, it's designed just for you, international student. And in most of schools, it is mandatory for international students to attend. And it's great. It really teaches you everything you needed to know to be a student at your institution and in the United States. So if you are, for some reason, you can make it to the orientation, you want to let your school know. And in most of cases, there will be a makeup orientation for people who arrive late. And for the orientation, usually we covers the topics like civics check-in, immigration check-in, things about your health insurance, how to set up accounts, how does it work, and some safety informations, campus police, emergency apps, and academic advising, class registration, academic integrity, which is really important, and the classroom norms in the U.S. and campus tours, resources, and they also have a lot of fun events, social events, game events, and it's a great way for you to, great place for you to ask questions, make friends, and understand how things works in your institution and in the United States. And I think there are another session or some other session will be covering the topic of adjusting your life to the United States. So I will just briefly mention some points. The first one is the culture shock. And now it is very common, very normal to feel homesick, culture shock at first, because it is a big change for you. It's a life experience. So usually the culture shock will come in 4 stages. Some of you might already know this. It's the honeymoon, frustration, adjustment, and acceptance. So the first stage is the honeymoon, which literally means it feels like a honeymoon. So everything's so exciting, everything's great, everything's new. I love this new apartment. I love the school. I love the food and everything. But after a little while, the frustration might kick in. All the things you felt really excited about at the beginning, you might started to not like them that much because they're so different. Or sometimes it might be because due to the language barrier, or sometimes it's just the things are different, the new systems, and just makes you kind of frustrated. But then, depending on the individuals, sometimes frustration can take a little longer, sometimes a little bit shorter. But then, you will adjust. then you begin to adapt. Okay, and for some students, it takes a little bit longer to adjust or to adapt, which is totally fine. And people have their own ways to adjust, to adapt. Some people prefer to just be with themselves and take everything in, think everything through, and just cope everything with themselves, which is totally okay if that works for you. And for some people, they like to talk to people. They like to connect, talk to their friends, their family members, their professors or classmates or people, new friends they made in the United States. Really, whichever works for you, go for it. And just to know that you will adapt. It is a matter of time. And then after you started to adapt, after a little while, you will enter into this acceptance stage. Okay, it doesn't mean you will love everything, but what it really means is you feel comfortable and confident about this new environment and your life in the United States. So I always think it is helpful to understand this culture shock stages, understand yourself in advance. So when you actually experience those different stages, you won't panic, you won't be stressful, and it's just a matter of time, and things will get better and better. And the next point would be the classroom norms. In the United States, your professors expect you to participate really actively. So ask questions and join discussions. Don't be shy. Well, you might be shy at the beginning. It's a process, but the more you get to know your professor, the more you get to know your classmates, I think the more comfortable you feel in participating in the class. And academic integrity is taken really seriously in the United States. You want to avoid plagiarism by learning how to cite sources correctly. Now, it's perfectly okay if you don't know how to do this at the beginning. That's when you ask for help, right? You can utilize the writing center at your school, tutoring services, advisors, or ask your professors, and to learn how to do things properly. And another point would be, you want to pay attention to the syllabus. The syllabus is like a contract, acts like a contract between you and the professor. And in the United States, the professors have the 100% rights to make policies or the rules for the particular class. Of course, everything should be under the university policy. The professor will make the rules and policies for the particular classes. And usually there are different policies about academic integrity. In some classes or some classes, if you have practiced any academic dishonesty, the professor might give you a second chance depending on the case. They might give you a 0 on this paper, on this exam, but give you a second chance. But in some classes, the professor might report you right away, and then you will leave a record on your transcript, which is something we do not want. So the bottom line is understanding academic integrity and know how it works, and how to avoid practicing academic dishonesty, and understand the policies of your class. And these days, with all the AI tools becoming really popular and common, ChatGPTs and things like that. Usually there are policies in your syllabus and instructing you whether or not you can utilize AI tools in this class. and to what degree, if you can, to what degree you can use them. So pay really attention, a lot of attention on the syllabus, and ask questions if you have any. It's better to ask questions up front than making mistakes later on. And the third point will be the communication tips. I'm sure all of your English is very good, very decent, because you all got admitted to a university. But it is okay if your English is not perfect. And at the beginning, you might struggle a little bit. In some regions, there might be some accents or dialects, and might be a little bit hard to understand. But trust me, within probably 3 months or so, after really immersing yourself in that environment, you will start seeing your English skills just seeing improvements with a really short period of time. Of course, you will have to be, talking to people, practice your English, and actively attend events and, join organizations. And then, your English will just get better and better. Okay, so some common tips for success in different areas. So academically, of course, you want to go to the class, right? That's what we're here for. We're going to study. We're going to get our degree. We go to the class. And, talk to your professors, talk to your classmates, and use campus resources if you need it. There's usually, writing centers, usually tutoring services at the institutions that it's probably free for you to utilize. And do not procrastinate. It's never a good idea. You will get really busy as a student, undergrad or grad, and it's not fun to wait until the last minute to work on your assignments or prepare for your exams. You might get through it, but it will be really miserable, trust me. So do not procrastinate. That is why time management is really, really important in your study and just life in general here. You can use calendars or some tracking apps to help you keep track of your tasks, deadlines, or even just appointments, personal appointments, medical appointments, and immigration status. And then health and wellness, stay active, eat well, sleep well, and seek help when needed, either physically or mentally. Now, in some cultures, going to the counseling session or center might seem not that common, but in the United States, it's a great way for your overall well-being, your mental health. It's a pretty common practice. You're just going to this session talking to a professional about your struggles or challenges, and they're trained professionals. They'll help you. They will help you to maybe not necessarily solve the problem, but help you with your own thinking process and solve the problem by yourself. And sometimes they just go to talk to somebody about your challenges or struggles, and that usually helps a lot. And the next one is finances. It's always wise to plan your budget carefully, right? You want to know your limits and probably avoid unnecessary spending. And there are some ways to save money. For example, for purchasing the textbooks, there are usually options for you to either purchase a used textbook or rent a textbook. So there are some ways that you can go about it. And the last but not least point would be the immigration status. This is probably one of the most important thing you want to pay attention to all the time. You want to stay enrolled full-time. You never want to fall below the full-time credits. And you want to make sure your documents, all the important documents are updated, especially your I-20 and passport. Because sometimes students don't use their passport that often in the United States. So it's very easy to forget about your passport. It's expiring, next year. So checking on that and use a calendar reminder or something to remind yourself and renew it whenever you're able to, just to avoid some future troubles. And some campus resources that's really important or helpful for you to know. In your institution, usually there's this 5, definitely not limited to 5 resources that are available for you. First one would be international student office. It might be called differently. It could be called International Services Office, International Student and Scholar Office. Now that the office helps you with all of your questions about I-20s, visas, CPT and OPT, maybe some international cultural events, things like that. And your academic advisors, and they are very helpful. They help you to make academic plans, and they help you to register for classes. And usually, students will have to meet with their advisors once a semester to get classes registered. And then career services. I'm sure there is a career center in your institution. You can ask for resume help. And usually they will have information about job fairs, internships, things like that. And the student health center. It's usually an on-campus clinic. It's for your physical and mental health care. And the campus safety emergency app, which is for some safety tips and emergency support. I believe there usually is a alert system at your institution, means if anything happens, an incident happens, or any severe weather is happening, you will be notified through a text message, through a call, through email addresses. I think most of the universities here are really good at notifying students as soon as possible about those things. Okay, so that's all I have prepared for you. Before I open up the stage for questions, I have my contact information here and a website and social media just for Missouri State if you're interested. But I'm definitely happy to connect after the session, just to connect, or if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer as well, even if you're not coming to Missouri State University. But I hope in the future we can encounter each other in some way. So now I would like to open up the floor for questions. So Sakita, I will turn it over to you and see if we have any questions.
Thank you so much, Winnie. I find your presentation is very elaborate. So I'm hoping everyone here, of course, reap the benefits of it. I have advisees asking the questions that you actually, share, like the answers. You shared the answers in your presentation, which is, what should I bring to the United States as an international student, an incoming international student? And I tell them to, of course, your passport and I-20 should be stuck together all the time. And among other things, Winnie also said, like bring in this and that documents, like your letter of acceptance, and if you get any scholarships, that will be so helpful. and just answer the questions. So if you're traveling alone or traveling with your family, during the immigration, if they ask you questions, then you can just say it, like answer it very honestly, and be prepared. Like bring in your previous transcript, academic records, and any documents, any important documents that you might need in the United States. So do you guys have any questions? Any questions? Raise your hand, please, here. And in the Zoom, if you have any questions, you can send it in the chat box. We received a question in the Zoom about the mental health resources, safety, and health facilities, but Winnie already answered that. So in general, most, if not all, U.S. universities are very equipped with those facilities. The health facilities, the safety facilities, and Winnie can speak from her perspective from one of the universities in U.S. So I hope that answers the question for that. And there's another question from the Zoom, which is, let me dig this. Okay, so we didn't get enough time to talk about the the regulation regarding international student working on the campus, Winnie. So there's a question: can international students, specifically international student, work in the United States? Could you help us answer that question?
Yeah, so international students are eligible to work on campus, and only on campus. If it's only under the OPT and CPT status that you can legally work off campus. But yeah, you can work on campus as a student employee, student worker, or graduate assistant, teaching assistant, research assistant, depending on your academic level. And usually how it works is, I'm sure there is a student employment office at your institution, and they usually have all the job postings ready on the website. And so you can just go to the website and search for the job postings. If you see anything that you're interested or you think you might be a potential candidate, apply for it. You go to the interview and everything. Once they decided to hire you as a student worker, then you will work with usually it's international payroll office or payroll office to set up all the necessary paperwork ready. And then you do need your social security number, SSN. So once you have that and some documents set up ready, you should be all ready to go, legally work on campus. And usually there are people there to help you, guide you every step of the way, how to get your SSN, how to get your paperwork. So you really don't have to worry too much about that.
Yep. Thank you so much, Winnie, for answering that. And I can also share with you guys that if you have interest to find on-campus job, and it's the only job international students in the United States are eligible for, so you cannot work outside of campus, right? And if you want to find those opportunities, like Winnie said, you can go to your official university website, or you can go to your international student office or international student service office and talk to your advisor / your counselor there, or maybe just ask questions like, hey, do you know if there's any on-campus job, or is there any on-campus job I can apply to, or any scholarship if you're looking for a scholarship. So those kind of things, and always update or like check your email every day. And email is the main point of contact in the U.S. universities. So you need to check your email first thing first, just like you check your WhatsApp in the morning, right? Now you have to check on top of your WhatsApp, of course, your email, okay? Your school email, especially, because that's the update. That's where you get the update if the class is canceled, if there's a hurricane, if there's like a snowstorm. So you need to be very updated on a very daily basis. on your email, okay? And sometimes they will send you updates, email, or deadlines like the last day to register for your class is this date and that day. So you don't want to miss any of that at all, okay? So stay tuned on your email, ask questions, don't be shy. And any questions? No? All right, so I think that's that. But if you're looking for an on-campus job while we are on the topic, don't forget to check with your sponsors or your scholarship giver. If you're like doing LPDP, you're under LPDP or Fulbright, please double check if you're allowed to, because you don't want to break any regulations from your scholarship providers end, okay? So that's a heads up for you if you are trying to find on-campus job on this matter. All right, Winnie, do you have any last tip for incoming students for fall 2025 before they depart and we let you go today?
I would just say be prepared, but not worried. Things might happen. There's always something would happen, or either when you fly with your flight, or when you go through customs, or when you arrive. But as long as you're well prepared, there's nothing to be worried about. There's always a solution to any issue, to any problem. And I think Sankita brought up a really good point, which I didn't include in my presentation, is to check your email regularly. And whenever you contact anybody in the university, always use your university official email. Do not use your Gmail or some other email, because your university email is the official communication with your professors and different offices or departments. They will be able to locate who you are right away just from your email accounts. But other than that, it's just a huge honor to be here and talk to all of you. And congratulations again, and the best wishes. I hope you have amazing experience in the United States. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, Winnie, and thank you, everybody here. Please give Winnie a round of applause. So so let's move to the next session. I'm aware we still have a bit of time, so I want to give a reminder to you guys. If you don't know your international orientation date yet for the U.S. university you're attending, then you need to find out as soon as possible. If you cannot find it in the email that you received from your school, your homework is actually to reply to that email and ask, is there any international student orientation, okay? Because it's designed for international student. It's designed for you to navigate your first week, which is very, very important. The bank accounts, the phone number, that's what you really, really need. So your school can contact you if they need anything, if you already have the US number, okay? That's that. And let's move to the next session. I give it back to the Ed America team.
Thank you very much, Kak Santika, along with Winnie, for the informative session. Yep, that was the session 2 of International Student Orientation and Preparation. And we're going halfway through the entire session of today. And I want to do a quick check-in with you guys. How are we feeling right now? Inspired? Oke, mungkin bisa stretching sedikit ya, karena kita masih ada 2 sesi lagi. We're going to have another 2 sessions. And next up, we have third session. We'll be going under the theme, Adapting and Finding Your Ways in the U.S. With that, I would like to invite our speakers for today, Misbah Burhanudin, an LPDP alum of University of Michigan, and also Himyar Arsenio. He is Cardan Beam Awardee of the University of Chicago, joining us virtually. And also will be guided by the Education USA advisor. Please give welcome to Caroline Darmanto.
Okay, hi. Selamat siang teman-teman semuanya. Thank you for coming. As mentioned, my name is Caroline. I'm one of the advisors here at America. Mas Misbah, silakan duduk aja. Teman-teman semuanya terima kasih udah datang dan untuk stay sampai saat ini juga ya. Mungkin it's a little long, it's a little tired, but please stay a little longer. Hari ini kita akan ngobrol dengan santai juga with Mas Misbah, juga dengan Himyar yang ada di Chicago saat ini. Nanti they will introduce themselves. But mungkin sebelum kita mulai, teman-teman di sini yang dari BIM Garuda bisa angkat tangannya sebentar. Oke, mungkin bisa dibantu sorot oleh tim kami di sini untuk saya ke Kak Himyar, karena Kak Himyar was just here just last year attending the pre-departure orientation untuk berangkat dengan beasiswa Indonesia Maju juga. Okay, so without further ado, I'm gonna let Himyar and then Mas Misbah to introduce themselves, and then we're gonna start, a little conversation about how they adapt to the U.S. culture when they arrive. Thank you, everyone. Ya, Himyar silakan.
Oh, oke. Halo semua, namaku Himyar ya. My name is Himyar. I'm currently studying at Chicago right now. Just finished my first year. So yeah, happy to know you.
Oke, mungkin Mas Misbah silakan.
Tes. Halo semua. Oke, ya. Lebih semangat lagi dong. Ini khususnya para calon semua yang pengen ke US dan lain. Ayo. Ya. Halo. Hi. Okay, good. Yeah. Yeah. So, I just graduated from University of Michigan. I take my MBA, so it's like class of 2025. Prior to MBA, I was working for almost 10 years in one of state-owned company in Indonesia. It's oil and gas company. And then because I'm from LPDP, I'm going back to this country, Indonesia, to continue working in my companies. Yeah, that's all.
Oke, thank you Mas Misbah. Oke, mungkin aku mau bertanya dulu ke Himyar ya. Gimana rasanya sekarang kamu yang ngomong di sini ke teman-teman yang mungkin akan mengikuti pathway-nya kamu berangkat sebentar lagi ke Amerika Serikat?
Senang sih.
Senang ya?
Ya, well, yeah.
Oke, kalau gitu. Nah, aku punya pertanyaan dulu nih buat Mas Misbah dan buat Himyar ya. Sebenarnya waktu kalian mau berangkat kemarin nih, mau berangkat ke Amerika untuk studi, persiapannya itu sebenarnya berapa lama sih? Mulai persiapan keberangkatan yang mungkin entah itu mencari housing or maybe try to figure out what are the things that you needed to bring atau what are the things that you need to mentally prepare before you depart.
Oke, mungkin aku dulu ya.
Silakan.
Start with intention ya mungkin.
Intention,
ya.
Okay.
Itu saya pengen coba S2 itu dari semenjak saya lulus atau S1. Jadi itu takes almost 10 years, but my first attempt will be like 2018, pre-COVID. Nah itu pertama kali saya coba. Itu saya coba LPDP, saya gagal 3 kali.
Okay.
Ya, saya gagal 3 kali. Yang pertama emang ternyata saya refleksi, saya belum siap. Yang kedua, it's matter of time and coincidence, saya salah submit dokumen. Ya, but third time akhirnya saya bisa berangkat. Okay. Tapi untuk persiapannya sendiri ini a little bit tricky ya, because saya decide untuk akhirnya berangkat dan take University of Michigan itu sebulan dari sebelum keberangkatan.
Sebulan sebelum keberangkatan?
Iya,
Okay.
Tapi mungkin tips buat teman-teman yang pengen berangkat, one thing tadi udah disampaikan Bu Wakil Menteri juga ya, tadi opportunity and learn. Jadi sebelum berangkat pastikan kalian research yang banyak, networking, cari alum dari university kalian, tanya terus karena akan banyak perks-perks tadi ya untuk financial planning, untuk housing dan lain-lain yang mungkin kalau kamu nggak benar-benar ngobrol sama orang yang di sana, info-info itu nggak dapat. Dan kebetulan thanks to salah satu teman saya itu alum dari University of Michigan juga. Jadi sebelum berangkat pun saya housing udah bisa saya secure dan lain-lain itu tadi berkat networking dan juga cari informasi. That's the most important thing, research.
Oke. Kalau Himyar sendiri, how long did it take you to prepare?
Oh, kalau ditarik balik dari yang awal-awal, itu tuh dari akhir 2022 waktu menang OSN dan daftar BIM. Awalnya kan sebenarnya gak mau ke US kan emang ya. Cuman disaranin sama guru sama kakak kelas gitu. Udah Him, ambil aja tuh BIM katanya kan. Jadi dari situ masuk ke Chicago. Nah, dari Chicago nih preparasinya sih mirip-mirip sebenarnya sih. Cari-cari informasi. Sama mungkin kalau buat anak-anak BIM ya, itu hal yang paling penting yang kayak di-prepare, itu coba hitung kira-kira needs kita di situ ada apa aja sih. Terutama buat housing sama dining hall ya. Biasanya kalau anak college itu kan tahun pertama wajib dining hall ya. Beda sama yang grad student bisa off campus gitu. Itu mungkin satu distinction yang beda sih. Dan yang mungkin harus diliatin gitu. Official cost-nya berapa. Biasanya ada di website-website univ sih.
Oke. Kamu sendiri berarti sekarang do you still live in the dorm?
Kalau summer sih enggak ya. Soalnya kan summer emang istilahnya kayak diusir lah gitu ya kan di dorm. Jadi awalnya sublet. Tapi kalau nanti waktu fall lagi itu dorm lagi.
Dorm lagi, oke kalau gitu. So did the school help you in terms of like the housing because it was required, or did you have to kayak lebih proaktif gitu dalam mencari tahu tentang dormitorinya?
Oh, untungnya kalau di Chicago sih langsung di email sih. Jadi di email, oh ini housingnya kayak gini gitu. Cuman emang ada beberapa temen, kayak misalnya temanku yang di UIUC anak BIM, itu agak ada housing crisis ya. Jadi harus lebih proaktif gitu buat dari dorm housingnya.
Oke, kalau gitu. Nah sekarang aku mau tahu nih, Chicago and then Michigan, it's not like tadi kalau kita tanya ya, siapa yang mau California, New York gitu, ya angkatan langsung banyak gitu. But in reality, are there a lot of Indonesian students in Chicago or maybe Chicago atau maybe di UMich? Mungkin bisa terserah, mungkin Mas Misbah silahkan duluan.
So pas aku di sana sih graduate itu sekitar almost 50 ya. Jadi kan ada first year sama second year itu ya around 20. But also undergrad juga banyak. So almost 100 lah untuk di University of Michigan aja.
That's quite a
Tapi
lot.
balik lagi di Michigan nggak cuma University of Michigan, dekat situ juga nanti ada Eastern Michigan, EMU dan yang lain-lain. So sebetulnya banyak sih college kita di sana. Dan juga bukan cuma student, banyak juga kayak diaspora kita yang stay di sana. Jadi kayak untuk community Indonesianya sih untuk di Michigan alhamdulillah saya ngerasa cukup welcoming dan cukup easy untuk mingle sama orang Indonesia di sana.
Oke. Kalau Himyar sendiri gimana di Chicago?
Sama sih, di Chicago tuh banyak orang Indonesia.
Di
kampusku tuh di Chicago juga anak LPDP banyak banget. Sekitar sama jumlahnya mungkin 40-50. Untuk anak undergrad sih yang mungkin dikit ya. Sebenarnya banyak lah anak yang undergrad cuman nggak kelihatan gitu kadang-kadang. Kayak anak Indonesia cuman nggak kelihatan. Ya itu suka ada juga. Tapi yang mampir-mampir buat event Indo juga nggak banyak sih. Mungkin bisa dihitung pakai jari sebenarnya. Tapi tadi untuk anak LPDP kan banyak juga gitu. Jadi tetap kerasa kayak rumah kok.
Oke. So nggak sebenarnya tidak sesendirian itu ya, walaupun mungkin bukan seperti yang kedengeran banget kayak New York, California gitu ya. Was it difficult when you guys first arrived in the US and then you had to adjust maybe to the culture, to the classroom, atau mungkin basically finding ways in terms of like ke bank buka rekening dan lain-lainnya. Was it difficult for you guys? Silakan Mas Misbah boleh.
Ya. Mungkin disclaimer-nya, aku di Michigan kan, University of Michigan itu di Ann Arbor. Jadi dia tuh bentuknya college town. Mungkin akan beda feels-nya sama teman-teman yang nanti di New York atau mungkin di San Francisco yang emang big city gitu ya. Tapi kalau di Ann Arbor karena tadi itu college town yang kemana-mana tuh deket. Mungkin kalau Indo agak mirip kayak Jatinangor mungkin yang di Bandung. Ya. Tapi tadi kelebihan tambahannya adalah karena semua deket dan community, housing, dan tadi kompleks perumahan itu deket. Jadi once saya ke sana kebetulan juga ada teman, itu langsung udah bisa ketemu sama orang-orang di sana dan mingle. Jadi information di situ cukup banyak. Mungkin agak beda tadi kalau saya ada teman yang tinggalnya di New York dan lain-lain itu, mereka apartemennya mungkin beda, pisah jauh dan lain-lain. Ada yang di Queens, ada yang dekat di kampus saya itu. Mungkin another perks, tapi kalau tadi lagi disclaimer saya di Ann Arbor, Michigan itu bentuknya college town dan beberapa city yang bentuknya college town tuh mungkin akan feels tadi ya close tight relationship-nya itu di sana. Nah, tapi untuk hal-hal lain kayak banking, ini mungkin another pengalaman ya. Kalau untuk banking, jujur untuk banking di US itu little bit complicated compared to Bank Indonesia. Thanks to Bank Indonesia ya, Curious dan lain-lain, I love you. Di sana a little bit complicated, tapi nggak so-complicated. Mereka lebih ke rigid dan tadi banyak hal yang memang kita harus lebih culture-nya agak beda karena memang salah satunya untuk punctual waktu itu mereka benar-benar untuk ke banking itu kita harus set schedule yang jelas, nggak kayak kita yang bisa langsung masuk ke customer service, antri dan gampang ya. Ini kita harus janjian dan lain. Itu mungkin perks-perks di sana yang agak kita harus adapt kayak ke dokter. Itu juga kalau nanti spesialis juga harus antriannya agak lama, nggak kayak Indonesia. So itu another thing. Buat soal medical, kalau kalian punya obat yang banyak bawa aja. Khususnya obat-obat biasa yang pakai itu dibawa aja. Itu beberapa hal yang mungkin kita perlu adapt.
Jadi karena college town jadi lebih easy ya saat pertama-tama ya. Feels like home karena mirip Jatinangor gitu ya Mas ya.
Iya. Weather yang beda.
Weather beda. Oke. Nah, kalau Himyar sendiri apa yang dirasakan waktu first arrive in Chicago?
Dingin sih.
Dingin ya? Oh, kamu nyampe udah dingin ya? Langsung.
Walaupun pasti fall kan, cuman maksudnya dibanding sama Indonesia waktu itu 15 derajat di Chicago tuh. Di Indonesia kan nggak pernah lah 30 biasa di Jakarta. Nah untuk adjustment kayak banking gitu-gitu, waktu itu tuh nekat banget sih. Waktu itu nggak bawa $1 pun. Jadi waktu itu kan sebenarnya berdua tuh berangkat sama anak tim satu lagi namanya Tricia gitu. Terus gue kayak, Tris, lo ada $1 kan? Ntar kalau gue butuh apa-apa, aman lah ya. Tapi ternyata untungnya nggak kepake ternyata sih. Jadi kayak datang tuh ada transport dari anak LPDP, waktu itu baik banget sih anak LPDP, Kak Surya namanya. Ya diantar ke Chicago dari bandara. Habis itu ya udah karena emang dorm ya. Jadi apa-apa udah set gitu, dining hall apa-apa udah set. Langsung aja gitu dan setelah 1 hari 2 hari baru bikin bank dan aman gitu. Cuman memang itu agak nekat sih, nggak disarankan guys, jangan kayak gitu.
Nggak disarankan, oke, nggak disarankan, nggak bawa duit sepeser pun ya. Nah, how did you survive in the first 2 days kalau kamu juga nggak bawa duit $1 sedikit pun, belum punya bank account, how did you get around gitu?
Untungnya emang itu si dining hall pakai kartu di tap.
Kartu di tap, oke. Kartu dari bank dari sini ya, berfungsi ya?
Enggak, dari Chicago.
Oh dari Chicago, oke kalau gitu. Oke, nah tadi kita udah ngomongin kan, kalau mungkin Himyar quite convenient ya dijemput dengan anak LPDP, masuk dorm udah ada semuanya. Nah Mas Misbah kan aku assume karena graduate degree tidak seperti itu pengalamannya. Ya kan, lalu bagaimana mencari housingnya pada waktu itu?
Kalau kebetulan untuk grad, jadi kayak di University of Michigan itu memang tadi untuk undergrad mereka akan masuk dorm untuk dia yang pertama, tapi kalau untuk grad itu mereka emang offer in-house, on-campus housing buat grad. Itu nggak di dalam kampus, tapi managed by kampus lah ya. Tapi itu memang, itu off campus, tapi emang agak, maksudnya dapetinnya itu agak sulit karena emang itu antrian dan tapi saya kebetulan tadi karena udah dapat informasi lebih cepat dari teman, saya apply lebih dulu dan pas saya datang saya langsung dapat. Tapi memang itu tadi housing yang kalau mungkin yang millennials pernah main The Sims itu housing kosong, nggak ada barang di sana. So the first thing I need to get is like lampu dan kasur.
Oke.
Tapi ini hal lucu laginya di sana. Kan tadi housing itu suka cepet akan ada yang keluar ada yang masuk. Nah itu juga kebetulan timingnya pas saya mau masuk ada yang keluar, mereka suka sale barang-barang.
Oh jadi lebih murah.
Bahkan ada yang mau langsung ini mau dibuang aja, so that's how to manage your finance. Baik lagi itu informasi yang saya dapat dari teman saya sebelum saya sampai. Jadi itu hal kayak gitu ngisi rumah. Terus kemudian tadi mungkin kalau undergrad ada tadi dining hall kita untuk saving money, masak itu sangat recommended. Ya.
Masak recommended,
ya, karena kan biaya di US itu service fee itu sangat tinggi ya, makanya orang cooking dan lainnya itu fee-nya sangat tinggi dan comes up to meals itu harganya mahal sekali, compare to Indo ya. $1, mungkin Tapi lama-lama akan kerasa kayak ngeluarin $10 itu kayak ngeluarin 100.000 di Indo.
Oke.
Ya, tapi itu kan gap-nya agak jauh ya.
Betul.
Gitu kan. Nah itu makanya cooking dan lain-lain itu hal-hal yang mungkin jatuhnya sehari-hari untuk survive. Dan untuk hal-hal lainnya sih kurang lebih sama ya antara undergrad sama ungrad. Cuma memang cycle ya grad itu lebih cepet kan. Kayak mungkin less than 2 years kita udah harus out. Jadi another tips juga plan what you want to do in US for grad student early because tiba-tiba udah setahun ya, tiba-tiba udah setengah tahun ya, winter break and everything. That's just plan everything, research.
Oke, jadi mungkin ini informasi yang cukup baik buat teman-teman semua, terutama yang mau berangkat untuk S2 atau S3 ya. Jadi untuk punya koneksi mungkin with the current students atau mungkin recent alum yang baru pulang itu sangat baik ya untuk mencari tahu ya itu tadi tentang living situation, informasi ordal gitu ya, mana yang mungkin mau move out dan lainnya supaya nanti lebih easy saat mau cari housing. Itu salah satunya. Oke. Now we talk about cooking, mungkin ini juga something yang aku mau tanya ke Himyar juga ya. Saat persiapan berangkat ke sana, aku tahu dulu teman-teman aku beberapa bawa nih bumbu masak dari Indonesia gitu karena takutnya kangen dengan makanan Indonesia. Did you guys do the same? Atau is it recommended? Atau is it actually easy to find restaurants yang mungkin jual makanan Asia di tempat kalian atau mungkin bahkan makanan Indonesia? Gimana?
Ya, mungkin aku lagi ya. Ini tipsnya sih memang tadi beda city, beda situation. Ann Arbor ini salah satu yang kalau saya bilang rasanya white banget. Jadi sangat plain banget. Jadi memang kalau kalian yang terbiasa sangat makanan Indonesia tuh bawa kayak bumbu-bumbu jadi sendiri itu sangat helpful ya. Tapi pun misalkan nggak kebawa, pasti kayaknya tiap city itu ada Asian store dan lain. Mungkin agak bedanya mungkin agak sedikit lebih mahal. Jadi kalau memang bisa stocking dari awal atau let's say ada kesempatan pulang bawa lagi, itu banyak yang melakukan itu. Atau ada teman pulang kita nitip, itu juga banyak melakukan itu. Tapi nggak selalu harus gitu. Untuk cari pun banyak sih. Kayak bahkan ada saya lupa di Philly apa di DC itu ada satu store Indonesian sendiri yang kadang kita teman-teman kumpulin untuk pesan bareng buat ya tadi ongkirnya lebih murah ya dan lain-lain untuk persiapan kalau mau lebaran kita mau masak-masak. Nah hal-hal kayak gitu bisa dilakukan.
Oke. Kalau Himyar sendiri gimana? Apakah udah belajar masak sekarang selama tinggal di dorm?
Oh kalau sekarang waktu di dorm sebenarnya gak masak sama sekali.
Oke.
Karena
ada meal plan.
Iya di Chicago tuh konteksnya dia diwajibin unlimited meal plan. Dan itu benar-benar unlimited. Jadi sayang lah kalau nggak kepake gitu kan, karena dari living allowance BIM juga kan. Jadi hampir nggak pernah masak kecuali kayak ini juga nggak bisa dihitung masak lah ya. Kayak masak ramen kalau kayak jam 12 malam gitu, itu nggak bisa dihitung masak lah. Tapi kalau di sublet apartemen ini, iya sih harus masak dan emang bener-bener kepake banget sih bumbu instan yang waktu itu dapat donasi dari anak LPDP yang mau balik gitu. Ini ada bumbu nih, ambil aja gitu. Dan itu ngebantu banget sih, karena makanan jadi lebih berasa lah ayam gitu.
Oke. Ini anak LPDP sangat membantu Himyar ya, mulai dari penjemputan sampai ngasih nasi nih. Oke, jadi so that's one of the things ya. Jadi mungkin selama ini kan kita bingung ya mau berangkat ke sana, kita nggak kenal siapa-siapa, and that's why we're here. Jadi nanti saat mungkin selesai acara, teman-teman bisa saling kenalan satu sama lain. Maybe ada yang ke kampus yang sama, ke kota yang sama gitu. So that's one of the ways that you get to know, other people yang mungkin akan sama-sama berangkat ke US sebelum berangkat gitu. Jadi so you won't feel that alone gitu ya saat nanti tiba di US sendiri. Oke, nah aku punya pertanyaan cukup menarik. Ini tentang expectation dan reality gitu. Mungkin aku mulai dari Himyar. Saat kamu berangkat ke sana, ekspektasi kamu apa? Lalu realitinya seperti apa? What's different? Nanti juga mungkin Misbah bisa menjawab.
Ini akademik ya?
Terserah akademik,
kalo
personal.
Akademik ya? Kalau akademik jujur, karena kan di Chicago nih ada motonya, moto unofficial itu where fun goes to die kan. Terus dikira tuh bakal kayak se-insane itu. Ternyata menurutku ada dua aspek nih. Secara quantity sama secara quality lah. Secara kuantitas waktu yang time commitment gitu ya. Indonesia kayaknya lebih gila deh waktu SMA.
Oke.
Karena kan bangun jam 6, sekolah 6.30 sampai jam 3 kan. Habis itu masih ada aktivitas setelah sekolah. Nah, kalau college, ya mungkin di Indonesia juga seperti itu sih ya. Tapi kan kita lebih fleksibel sama waktu kan. Office hours nggak mandatory, kelas, lecture on average 50 minutes. 80 menit itu paling lama gitu. Jadi secara time commitment waktu itu, wah ternyata nggak seberat di Indo ya. Apalagi kalau sekolah negeri, mungkin teman-teman yang sekolah negeri di sini, itu nggak seberat sekolah negeri gitu. Kan kalau sekolah negeri juga banyak grant work, tugas-tugasnya tulis tangan, rangkum ini tulis tangan, pertanyaannya tulis ya gitu. Di sini kan manfaatin teknologi gitu kan. Nah, tapi kalau secara quality sih, itu yang bervariasi ya. Ada beberapa kelas yang aku rasa sama sih kayak kelas SMA secara difficulty-nya. Kayak, oh iya harus baca ini, harus baca ini. Terutama kelas-kelas core ya. Jadi UC Chicago tuh copy paste core curriculum-nya Columbia. Jadi harus kayak ada general education, ngambil humanities, art, history, physics, bla bla bla. Biasanya mereka kelas intro dan itu difficulty-nya sebenarnya nggak terlalu jauh lah sama mungkin SMA di Indonesia. Tapi aku ngambil kelas nggak iseng sih. Soal ngambil kelas honors calculus gitu kan. Wah ternyata itu kalau bisa diilustrasi, kalau waktu aku cari-cari itu kayak materi semester 3 atau semester 4 FMIPA Indonesia gitu. Tapi ya kita semester 1 kan, kita pelajarin kan. Dan UC Chicago sistem quarter gitu, jadi 9 minggu buat belajar itu sebelum final dan sebagainya. Itu lumayan sih. Walaupun tadi secara time commitment pun tetap gak sebanyak Indonesia. Tapi kayak waktu emang in the zone tuh harus bener-bener deep gitu lah, itu sih yang dirasain sih. Karena kayak, oh nggak pernah ketemu matematika yang nggak ada angkanya gitu misalnya di Indonesia gitu. Jadi itu sih mungkin bedanya ekspektasi dan realitanya gitu.
Oke. Jadi lalu bagaimana kamu memanage waktu? Karena mungkin kayak kamu bilang tadi waktu SMA itu kan secara kuantitas waktunya mungkin akan lebih makan waktu gitu. Nah tapi kan sekarang berarti kamu harus grab everything yang lebih berquality gitu ya di dalam belajar kamu. Do you feel like maybe you have better life outside of the classroom, atau mungkin kamu bisa menjadi explore lebih banyak hal di luar kamu harus belajar gitu setiap harinya?
Jujur kok explore banyak hal nggak banyak juga sih ya, kerjaan nonton YouTube gitu atau tapi iya sih fleksibilitas sebenarnya itu sih yang tren sih di kuliah di US tuh. Jadi kayak you can be whatever you want I guess. Like your autonominya lebih banyak lah daripada ini dibanding college ya. Kalau mungkin kalau anak S2 yang LPDP mah udah otonomus lah di Indonesia juga ya. Cuman buat anak SMA gitu yang mau kuliah keluar itu emang bener-bener jadi tanggung jawab diri sendiri lebih besar sih. Buat time management ya, selama kita meet the deadlines, meet the expectations, kita tahu kita mau target nilai kita berapa dan kita bisa ngecapai itu, harusnya aman sih. Kayak nggak susah banget sih harusnya ya. Oh ya, pinter-pinter guys buat baca-baca course feedback. Itu sih yang mungkin tips terbesar ya. Kadang-kadang aku punya temen kayak dia ngambil kelas ini, ternyata wah ini sibuk banget gitu. Jadi pinter-pinter mungkin pilah-pilah course feedback yang kira-kira sesuai sama kita atau gimana gitu. Itu sih mungkin tips terbesar untuk time management. Karena dari situ ntar waktunya bakal kebagi sendiri gitu. Oh ini ada essay deadline seminggu kan, kalian harusnya bisa bikin prioritas sendiri lah otomatis.
Oke. Jadi aman ya, nilai sekarang aman semua ya Himyar ya.
Aman.
Oke kalau gitu. Oke, kita masuk ke Mas Misbah, gimana expectation dan realitinya yang sangat berbeda dari yang diharapkan?
Ya, mungkin tadi ya, kan kadang kalau baru mau berangkat itu dan keluar, apalagi belum pernah, itu ada rasa minder kayak, oh kita masih orang Indonesia atau seperti apa, itu lupakan karena begitu sampai sana tuh, kebetulan kan tadi saya di business school, MBA, speak up tuh sangat perlu dan itu tipikal yang kadang kita suka malu, ini apalagi yang mau tanya tapi disimpan, nggak ditulis di sekarang nih teman-teman, itu biasain untuk nanya karena memang benar-benar semua orang tuh speak up walaupun ya menurut saya sih in terms of quality Asian tuh Indonesia sangat bisa compete. Cuma tadi masalahnya ketika kalian nggak bisa speak up apa yang kalian pikirkan, kalian terlihat nggak bisa compete. Itu yang menurut saya, oh ternyata saya bisa compete ya, tapi emang saya takut mau ngomong saat itu. Itu salah satu yang saya agak, kita bisa nih, kita tuh emang secara SDM bisa compete di luar, satu itu. Dan juga ada salah satu proofnya juga kan banyak model yang sifatnya normal distribution tuh kalau sekolah. kalau kelas. Jadi walaupun kalian nilainya perfect, kayak saya ada satu tuh ujian salah 3, saya dapat di situ dia pakainya pas. Pas itu mungkin setara C ya. Padahal saya cuma salah 3, sedangkan teman-teman saya yang salah 2 itu langsung pada dapat good atau B, yang salah 1 tuh dapat A. Itu tadi model normal distribution yang agak bikin pressure banget karena tadi kita harus bukan soal tinggi-tinggian skor, tapi kita harus lebih baik di antara peer kita. Itu salah satu yang agak pressure. Tapi di sisi lain tadi ya mungkin karena graduate student sama faculty itu sangat welcoming. Terus kayak let's say waktu itu saya mau pas Idul Fitri, mungkin nggak semua di sana faculty tahu mau Idul Fitri gitu ya. Tapi saya cukup izin aja bilang seperti itu dan oh ya silakan, nggak apa-apa, boleh. Dan juga pertama kali saya datang, saya mau izin, saya mau sholat, itu langsung kayak fakultinya nganterin, oh ya di sini, dan kebetulan ada di situ musola. Jadi dan juga hampir semua profesor tuh bilang jangan panggil saya Prof, tapi panggil ada Michael, ya panggil aja Michael kayak gitu. Jadi sangat dekat lah untuk dengan fakulti itu yang mungkin agak beda dengan pengalaman saya S1 dulu di Indo. Jadi itu salah satu yang beda. Dan hal lucu lagi juga mungkin orang-orang di sana mungkin ya ramah dan enggak tuh relatif ya. Tapi yang ramah tuh banyak. Saya suka kadang kan kalau weekend itu, kebetulan saya milenial ya suka punk rock gitu. Kalau ada konser di Detroit, saya kayak naik bus 1 jam tuh cuma $6. Saya jalan ke sana. Tapi dimanapun saya jalan selalu ada yang kayak nyapa. Kayak kadang saya cuma pakai baju apa tulisannya apa. I like your clothes and ya semacam itulah kayak ngajak ngobrol di tengah jalan atau kayak cuma sengaja ngajak tos itu kayak oh ternyata orang sana juga welcoming loh sama kita-kita gitu sih.
Oke. Nah kita ngomongin sholat dan Idul Fitri ya. Mungkin aku mau tanya juga untuk Himyar dan Mas Misbah. Saat Idul Fitri ngapain sih kegiatannya di sana? Dan karena itu kan di sana bukan public holiday yang besar gitu ya seperti di sini. So were there any activities or maybe bagaimana kalian celebrate Idul Fitri?
Ya, aku dulu mungkin tadi untuk kayak public holiday sendiri mungkin kayak di sini tadi mayoritas agamanya kan yang kita tahu ya. Cuma di sana lebih banyak lagi agama lain yang bentuknya juga holiday-nya juga beda gitu. Jadi bahkan di kampus saya itu ada jadi nggak semua holiday itu akan libur karena nanti libur semua. Tapi mereka punya list of holiday gitu. Jadi kita pun tahu ada holiday yang lain seperti apa. Nah kebetulan untuk Idul Fitri karena di sana juga ada komunitas Muslim, kita bisa izin untuk sholat Id. Jadi pagi mereka tetap ada health sholat Id dan pasti kalau yang di kota yang ada KBRI-nya pasti lebih gampang lagi.
I see.
Dan pasti juga kayak hampir setiap kota juga ada satu masjid gede sekarang. Nah, itu untuk sholat dan abis itu biasa kalau yang komunitas Indonesianya cukup besar atau bahkan studentnya lebih dari 20-50 mungkin kita suka bikin Idul Fitri sendiri. Jadi teman-teman tadi mulai kayak jauh-jauh hari udah ada yang tadi pesen ketupat instan. Kita masak bareng-bareng, masak opor. Kebetulan kan tadi hostingnya kan kita bisa masak ya. Dan itu nanti kita mungkin weekendnya atau yang lain kita udah prepare untuk kita ada eat feast-nya di situ. Jadi ya selama di sana selalu berkesempatan makan opor lah.
Jadi nggak kangen opor dan ketupat lah paling nggak.
Tetap kangen karena pasti rasanya beda ya. Spicesnya kan kadang ada beda, tapi at least mengobati kangen lah seperti itu.
Oke, Himyar, pengalaman Idul Fitri pertama di Amerika gimana?
Nah, benar kata Kak Misbah tadi, kalau kayak kampusnya emang ada komunitas Indonesia, itu suka ada event sendiri. Kemarin di Chicago memang ada event buat Idul Fitri gitu, buat anak-anak di Chicago-nya. Dan suka ada di KBRI juga ya, karena di Chicago ya, walaupun kemarin aku nggak datang sih ke KBRI ya. Dan untuk akses komunitas, entah itu mungkin agama atau yang lain-lain tuh, pasti selalu ada kok di kampus. Itu kayak apapun yang dicari tuh suka ada biasanya di kampus. Selama kita mau nyari aja sih. Jadi ya, good experience.
Jadi cukup ini ya, melepas kangen lah ya saat Idul Fitri tetap bisa berkumpul dengan orang Indonesia, tetap makan opor walaupun rasanya sedikit berbeda gitu ya. Oke kalau gitu. Nah sebentar lagi kita akan buka question and answer buat audience ya, onsite dan online juga. Tapi mungkin aku punya satu pertanyaan terakhir nih buat both Misbah dan Himyar. Homesick pernah nggak selama di sana? terutama mungkin Himyar ya, mungkin baru 1 tahun tapi akan 4
Oh.
tahun paling nggak di sana nih. Gimana sejauh ini pengalamannya? Mungkin habis itu ntar Mas Misbah
Pernah
bisa.
lah. Oh,
Pernah?
siapa dulu?
Iya silakan Himyar dulu.
Lagi kayak sebenarnya tadi aku tuh rencana pulang gitu kan, pulang bulan Mei. Cuman sekarang belum pulang juga.
Jadi
karena ada satu dua hal gitu nih, assistant dan sebagainya. Jadi ini gak sabar nih pengen pulang nanti deh seminggu 2 minggu lagi. Jadi kayak homesick sih, maksudnya kayak ngerasa kangen sih, kangen sama Indonesia, makanan terutama, suasana, harga Indonesia itu juga kangen juga. Cuman ya selama kayak kita ngobrol sama teman-teman di Indonesia, aku masih sering kayak kontak-kontakan sama teman-teman di WhatsApp sama keluarga. Itu tuh aman-aman aja sih sebenarnya sih. Kayak rasa homesick itu bisa terpendam lah, bukan hilang, terpendam.
Terobati sedikit lah ya. Oke, kalau gitu. Oke, mungkin Mas Misbah gimana?
Ya. Mungkin kalau konteksnya homesick lebih kayak ada hal-hal yang biasa di Indonesia seperti ini tapi di sana nggak ada ya. Nah, terus juga mungkin orang tua ya. Jadi mungkin mostly kita yang di sana ya at least ada yang mungkin tiap hari kontak sama orang tua. Jadi itu mungkin salah satu untuk mengobati homesick ya. Jadi itu bukan cuma Indonesia, kebetulan housing saya tuh saya berdua sama satu lagi dari India. Dia juga melakukan hal yang sama tiap malam telepon dengan keluarganya. Itu mungkin kalau dari sisi relasi. Tadi makanan sih ya, makanan yang suka paling dibilang homesick tuh karena memang agak beda. Even kita dapat spicesnya pun kadang namanya mirip aja, atau kayak cari kemangi di sana dia basil, tapi kan bukan benar-benar basil Indonesia gitu kan. Itu yang agak kangen. Tapi kalau dari sisi mengatasi kangennya, main saya tadi kalau misal saya kan graduate cuma 2 tahun. Dan tadi yang dibilang Bu Wakil Menteri, opportunity banyak banget. Jadi homesick saya ketutup sama opportunity yang mau saya ambil. Dan bahkan itu mungkin pas salah satu orientation saya pas sama faculty di sana bilang, kalian tentukan goal dari awal karena terlalu banyak opportunity sampai kadang kita lost di situ. Kayak kita pengen coba entrepreneurship, kita pengen coba leadership, kita ada yang coba tadi ada yang mau coba experience untuk tadi ke lab dan lain-lain. Tapi karena kita mau coba semua dan gak ada waktunya kadang itu. Jadi terlalu banyak opportunity kita mau coba, dan tadi justru itu membuat saya fokus untuk tadi mengejar opportunity apa aja yang mau saya dapat. Dan juga nggak cuma opportunity tadi di dalam kampus ya, termasuk untuk mau coba, saya nyoba ke state lain, seberapa beda. Dan itu juga ada tipsnya, tiket pesawat di sana kalau misalkan yang low cost itu bisa lebih murah dari Indonesia. Nah itu juga nanti tadi balik lagi research, optimize your finance capability. And tadi any experience di sana membuat saya tadi sedikit mengurangi rasa homesick dan lebih punya banyak waktu untuk explore.
Oke, thank you. Kalau makanan bawa micin nggak sih mungkin lain kali dari sini ya, biar nggak hambar-hambar banget gitu.
Di sana ada kok.
Ada micin. Oke. Nah jadi mungkin ini untuk teman-teman semua terutama mungkin yang mau undergrad ya, mungkin kan pertama kali pisah dari orang tua, jadi mungkin bisa dicoba juga setiap malam mungkin tetap kontak dengan orang tuanya ya, jam tentang kabur dari rumah nih, terus tiba-tiba nggak kontak gitu, mungkin tetap keep in touch dengan teman-temannya yang entah mungkin di city lain atau di states lain, or maybe back home. Jadi mungkin itu bisa menjadi salah satu obat untuk homesick, atau juga mengoptimasikan di sananya seperti apa ya. There are a lot of opportunities, mungkin traveling, maybe you can do internships or other things yang mungkin nantinya bisa melewati waktunya jadi lebih singkat gitu rasanya. Oke, sekarang kita akan open Q&A untuk audience online dan onsite. Mungkin aku akan buka untuk yang onsite dulu. Ada yang mau bertanya mungkin untuk para pembicara kita? Oke, kita mulai dari sisi sana dulu ya. Nanti kita akan kemari.
Ya, thank you. Halo, mungkin spesifik mau nanya ke Mas Misbah ya. Kebetulan nama saya Ezra, kebetulan mau ambil graduate program. Sebenarnya pengen nanya tips tambahan aja. Kebetulan karena aku juga tinggalnya rencana di off campus, dan bener kayak di The Sims gitu ya. Kira-kira ada tips lain nggak ya untuk kayak cari barang di mana? Apa harus jadi scavenger atau gimana gitu? Yang pasti sangat bersahabat untuk financial plan gitu. Thank you.
Oke, thank you Mas Ezra. Silahkan Mas Misbah.
Saya langsung jawab. Tadi kalau misalkan dibilang scavenger, agak abu-abu ya, tapi memang kadang mereka tadi ada hal yang kayak gitu yang kayak mereka langsung taruh aja deket dumpster, tapi itu barang yang bagus gitu ya, misalkan lampu gitu nggak ada yang pakai, kadang itu bisa langsung diambil aja karena memang itu mau dibuang karena nanti kayak jam 10 itu akan didestroy oleh kayak dump trucknya. Jadi itu mungkin salah satu tips tapi dia agak abu-abu ya. Tapi di sisi lain untuk beli barang itu menurut saya di sana sangat menyenangkan karena online shopnya itu sangat mendukung, khususnya Amazon. Ini bukan iklan ya. Di sana ada Amazon, ada Temu, itu sangat mudah. Jadi kayak dan apalagi kalau student baru masuk itu bisa dapat apa ya, semacam kayak discount, premium something lah. Jadi yang kamu pun untuk return dan barang dan lain juga cukup mudah. Jadi untuk mengisi barang tuh kalau memang nggak perlu kayak datang ke store dan lain-lain, online shop itu sangat mudah satu. Tapi balik lagi tanya ke alum atau yang mau lulus dan lain itu biasa pun ya tadi kan khususnya yang LPDP kayak dulu kita dikasih terus pasti pas mau pulang kita juga punya rasa untuk giving back. Jadi hal-hal kayak gitu yang mungkin cukup saling membantu sama ya awardee lah seperti itu. Ya.
Oke, coba menjawab. Oke, kalau gitu di sini juga ada perwakilan dari PERMIAS ya, jadi mungkin nanti bisa ngobrol dengan teman-teman dari PERMIAS untuk mungkin bertanya tips-tips lainnya. Oke, tadi ke arah sini ke kakaknya pakai baju biru muda dulu ya. Lalu nanti bisa hand over mic-nya ke sebelahnya.
Yeah. First of all, my name's Albert Poa. I'm an incoming graduate student from Columbia University. Actually, Kak Bisma, I'm your junior from the same company, yeah, but different upholding. In terms of academic, I think we as a student would like to experience all of the classes, all of the subjects available at the campus. But is it really possible to enter most of the class, or probably like we have in my university, in my campus, we can enroll minimum 12 credits, but it's a graded one, right? But can we just enter the class without being graded? But we want to know, we want to learn all the subjects that relate to our interests. So I just want to know about that. Thank you.
Oke, Albert, thank you. Mas Misbah, silakan.
Oke, mungkin saya jawabnya depends on campus policy ya. Ini disclaimer ya di in Ann Arbor. So basically I want to like enter all of the class, but then you have time, your energy, and then even like after I like register for all of class, and then what one of my seniors said that being realistic, just like around 3 to 5 class each semesters would be like feasible, and then I tried, and it's kind of like draining if you take all of the class, but then you also can just enter the class because most of my class is like 60 or 80 people. So let's say if just like you want to see for just a moment or just like one class, it should be fine, but depend on the professor. And also there's also like a legal mechanisms. It's called like audit class. So you register just for audit those class. So you don't need to like join the exam. No grades, but it's legal and registered. You are one of the member of the class, but it's called the audit class. That's this kind of thing. So it's possible. It's possible.
Ya, Oke, mungkin Himyar bisa mungkin share sedikit kalau dari sisi saat undergraduate, is it possible to attend many classes?
Yeah. For Chicago specifically, yeah. Like you're free to take any classes you want as long as you fulfill the prerequisites. But you don't have to like learn from classes. There are usually like lots of conferences on campus, and those are like a great place for you to learn, because usually professors or researchers would present their findings, and it's interesting to learn a thing or two. But I do agree with Kak Misbah. You can just go inside a big class, no one will notice you at all, and it's great. Or formally, yeah, you could just audit a class, but it takes like I don't really know the procedure. I've never audited a class, but yeah, you can. My best advice would be to go and see out conferences, because it's a limited time commitment and it's fun. We usually learn one thing or two. You get free food sometimes too. So yeah.
Oke, oke, thank you, Himyar. Oke, tadi kita ada pertanyaan, ya silakan.
Oh yeah. Should I say the name
Sure.
before? Arfi. My name is Arfi, and I'm still not like in semester 6 in college. Not yet to graduate, but I want to ask questions to you. I don't know. What is your city, sir? Because I want to know how much the living price in your city when you are college, and then halal food. I don't know, in halal food, is it like easy to like, because some of the, yes, you can get to say halal, but how the slaughters and so on, can you get it that in Walmart especially? Yeah, thank you.
Oke, thank you.
Yeah, so I live in Ann Arbor. It's Michigan. So one thing is that Michigan maybe it's like the biggest Muslim community over there. So next to Ann Arbor, there's a city. What's the name? I forget the name of the city. But
Detroit?
We get like a very large mosque over there, and so it's very easy for halal foods in Ann Arbor. So
Walmart.
they get like Arab population
Eastern.
over there, and then if you want to get halal food, even they get like what I call it? It's like halal sabiha.
Yeah.
So it's really they're really concerned with how you slaughter. But maybe the price kind of a bit like pricey.
Yeah.
But even like my supermarket's name is Kroger. They always sell lamb, and I think most of the lamb, kambing,
Yeah.
always halal. They put halal logo in the lamb, and for chickens and everything, they got like halal slaughters over there. So in my city, Ann Arbor, it's really easy. I can say it's really easy, but it doesn't mean it will be the same with another city. But for Ann Arbor, yeah, no worries.
Yeah, if it is like too hard, you can buy it online.
Actually, I never buy the halal things online because but for Walmart and also like Kroger and everything, they always like have the online services. And I just remember one thing that for my friend over there, Facebook's also helping help. Yeah, use Facebook.
Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Oke, thank you. Mungkin aku coba tanya di sisi sini, ada yang mau bertanya? Oke, and then we'll come back to here.
Oke, bahasa aja ya. Ini pengalaman saya dan keluarga, mereka kan sempat bilang boleh bawa makanan kan, just in case anak-anak pengen makan bakso, bakso dari Jakarta. Saya juga biasa suka bawa, kadang suka bawa Indomie lah ya, just in case musim dingin gitu kan. Sebelumnya 2022 kami kesana sih nggak masalah, nggak pernah dicek sama quarantine officer setelah imigrasi kan aman tuh. Pas kita selalu declare semuanya kan. Pas sampai sekarang entah kenapa 2023 tuh udah mulai ketat dan dicek. Bahkan bawa noodles itu sama dia dicek sama quarantine officernya tuh isinya apa, apakah daging sapi atau ayam gitu kan. Kalau ada daging langsung dibuang sama dia. Nah saya pengen cek aja apakah ada tips dan trik supaya tidak melewati quarantine officer dan tidak dicegat makanan itu. Gitu aja sih. Saya waktu itu melalui bandara New York di New York.
Oke. Mungkin aku bisa jawab ini sedikit ya. Jadi ini kembali lagi kejadian dari tahun-tahun sebelumnya juga. Jadi memang generally sangat aman dan bisa dibawa, cuma mungkin ada beberapa periode waktu, let's say misalnya lagi ada ada mungkin ketakutan sih ada waktu itu pas saya di sana ada flu burung, jadi semua yang berbahan ayam justru harus dibuang gitu. Nah jadi itu kembali lagi mungkin tergantung dari situasinya juga, tapi generally biasanya itu bumbu instan pasti aman kok gitu ya, tergantung dari nanti harus dicek juga ke pihak imigrasinya gitu. Oke, semoga menjawab. Oke, tadi mungkin kita kembali ke sini. Ya silahkan untuk Bapak yang di atas dulu. Kita ke atas dulu, nanti kita ke bawah.
Halo, nama saya Ferdi. Saya mau bertanya tentang the first few days lah, in the sense of like, because like the city that my university is not located in the major city, and so previously, because I studied in Australia under a scholarship scheme, everything is very easy. But now, because I am only a graduate, I only received graduate assistantship, so navigating is very hard. So my question is actually related to debit card. I mean, do you, because I'm just curious, is it difficult to, in the sense like, is it acceptable, or do you need the credit card to navigate to the United States? I'm asking in the context of like, because in my, I use a bank that offers some sort of like the US dollar currency as well. I'm just curious about how smooth this particular debit card product works in the United States. Thanks.
Oke, aku jawab sebentar, dan mungkin Mas Misbah dan Himyar bisa bantu juga ya. So generally as long as the card has Visa or Mastercard logo, should be fine. Gitu. Nah jadi without knowing which bank you're using, tapi selama itu ada Visa dan Mastercard harusnya aman. Tapi mungkin coba kita tanya ke Mas Misbah dan Himyar, yang mungkin Himyar terutama ya, yang sempat nggak bawa duit sepeser pun saat tiba. Coba mungkin bisa dari Himyar dulu, lalu nanti ke Mas Misbah.
Oke, jadi kalau aku sebut merek kali ya, apa sebut merek di sini bang? Enggak, jangan ya. Coba aku bikin bank di sini debit sih, aku nggak bikin kredit card sama sekali, dan semua pembayaran pakai HP kok. Di situ enak banget sih, bisa pakai HP, ceting gitu. Emang sih aku nggak pernah ada big purchases, beli apa-apa yang gede gitu, karena lagi-lagi hidup di dorm, dan baru belanja juga akhir-akhir ini waktu hidup di luar dorm, jadi purchasesnya masih yang kecil-kecil untuk groceries lah ya. Dan itu cover banget sama bank sini buat pakai HP aja, kita cukup bawa HP, Google Pay or Apple Pay, itu sih kalau aku sehari-hari.
Oke, kamu sempat pakai kartu debit dari Indonesia kah selama di sana waktu tiba?
Oh, buat belanja online sekali iya, ada online debit card kan, fitur di salah satu bank tuh ada fitur online debit card, bisa kepake, itu bisa juga di Amazon. Dan dia dikonversi dari ke IDR currency otomatis, cuman itu sekali aja sih waktu awal-awal gitu, waktu emang belum ada uang di sini.
Oke. Mas Misbah gimana?
Ya, kalau aku sih kayaknya in the first like 2 or 3 days langsung bikin debit card saat itu. Kebetulan tadi karena punya teman langsung dibantuin ke bank dan lain-lain, dan once aku udah punya debit card, itu tadi seluruh payment aku pakai debit card, karena di sini pun aku juga tidak membiasakan pakai credit card. Dan untuk punya credit card sana pun kan harus ada social security number. Jadi itu mungkin untuk yang ingin long term di sana butuh credit card untuk banyak mendapatkan tadi benefit yang lain. Tapi debit card aja, just debit card it's just enough for just use debit card. Tapi kalau misalkan pakai credit card Indo pun, kalau misalkan ada misalkan lagi ketinggalan atau tadi HP mati, emergency credit card Indo saya asal tadi Mastercard atau Visa card itu bisa dipakai. Tapi punya debit card, having a debit card would be like very helpful over there. Yeah.
Alright, thank you untuk pertanyaannya semua teman-teman. Waktu kami sudah habis, tapi mungkin aku akan memberikan mungkin sedikit waktu untuk Mas Misbah dan Himyar, mungkin pesan-pesannya for teman-teman kita semua yang ada di sini yang akan berangkat beberapa minggu lagi. Silahkan Mas Misbah duluan.
Oke, mungkin pesan dari saya lebih tadi ya, selalu speak up, jangan pernah minder, karena Indonesian quality I know you guys is the best, and also sometimes like accent, mungkin beberapa ada yang udah accentnya bagus banget ya, kayak sangat fluent, tapi saya nggak terlalu bagus juga. Tapi jangan takut, di sana juga bukan cuma Indonesian juga, kita akan ketemu negara lain yang punya accentnya masing-masing. Even untuk US people aja mereka accentnya beda-beda. So jangan terlalu worry sama kok saya kayak ada bahasa Jawanya dan lain-lain. Even salah satu profesor kita di sana itu from Indonesian, and one of my friends said that like, you get the same accent, so they acknowledge our accent actually. So that's totally fine, just confident and always speak up, and speak up your thought.
Oke, pede aja ya. Oke, Himyar, silahkan.
Mirip-mirip sih sama Kak Misbah. Have fun lah, tapi have fun di US, seru soalnya. Dan tadi ya harus pede. Kita Indonesia kita merepresentasikan Indonesia gitu, walaupun kadang-kadang orang juga nggak tahu sih kalau kita orang Indonesia ya kadang-kadang. Cuman have fun aja, jangan dibawa stres. It's a good experience. just like anywhere else.
Alright, thank you so much Mas Misbah, thank you so much juga Himyar dan teman-teman semua yang udah bertanya. Aku akan hand over balik the event to our e-guide. Thank you everyone.
Thank you very much Kak Misbah along with Kak Himyar for today's very fun session. Dan thank you so much udah sharing personal stories yang bakal buat teman-teman juga lebih well equipped. Dan thank you so much Kak Caroline for navigating throughout the discussion. And now moving on to the next session, the fourth session. It will be under the theme of applying for U.S. student visa and maintaining student visa status. And now I would like to introduce you to our speaker for the fourth session, Tara Subramaniam, the Vice Consul of U.S. Embassy Jakarta, along with our moderator for today, Muhammad Iqbal, the EducationUSA advisor. Kak Iqbal and Tara, the stage is yours.
All right. Okay. So hi everyone. Okay. My name is Iqbal. I'm one of the EducationUSA advisor based in the US Embassy Jakarta. I'm so excited. Okay, we be with you today. So excited to host a special session with our special guests, Vice Consul Tara. So I believe this is going to be a highly anticipated sessions that people just want to stay here and just want to hear. And I think that before we begin, I just want to see the few hands. How many of you have received a student visa, your student visa? Raise your hand. There you go. Awesome. Okay, how many of you not apply, haven't applied yet? You do not apply. Seems not. Okay. So how many of you apply, but you do not get your visa yet? Apply but do not get a visa. Okay, I see a few hands here and there. Awesome. Okay, don't worry about that. We're here to address your concerns and your questions, and we're going through all the process. All right, so Tara is going to talk about how to apply your student visa and how to maintain your student visa while you're studying in the United States. So, okay, without further ado, I turn it over to Tara. Tara.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here with you all, and hopefully I can help provide some answers and some information that'll help you navigate the rest of the process and make you well equipped for your time in the US. So I have a couple of slides, I think. Perfect. So I'll be quick and brief on the first couple of slides because most of you, it seems, have already started the process of applying for a student visa. So you know, step 1, step 2 is essentially prove that you're a credible student. So there are a couple of different student visas. I will, again, not linger too much on that, but your program should have told you which visa to apply for. There are different benefits and requirements that come with each visa. This is just kind of a quick overview. I will talk through mostly the F and the J visas today, but I'm happy to answer questions about all three F, M, and J visas. So the F visa is predominantly for four-year programs at a U.S. college. The J visa is largely for exchanges. However, I know that programs like LPDP for master's degree programs often also use the J visa. So I will talk about both of those today. So if you're here, based on the show of hands, you've gone through this system. You've had your interview. So now we're in the after interview stage. So I want to talk about what comes after the interview. So for decades now, the visa process has required a lot of vetting of each applicant. As you may have heard, we have since expanded the vetting. Under the current guidance, all F, M, and J applicants, so whether you're a student or you're the spouse of a student, the child of a student, you are going to undergo a comprehensive and thorough vetting, which includes a vetting of your online presence, which is social media and any other online publications, et cetera, that you may have. As part of this process, you're being requested at the interview and in the application process to set your accounts to public for all your social media. And as a result, this has extended the processing time. So I want to make a note that if you've applied for the visa but you have yet to hear back, it's likely still undergoing processing, and our processing times have extended as a result of this expanded vetting. I'd also like to note that there's been a small change in the sequence of visa application steps. So previously, if you were applying for a visa, you would come have your interview, you'd find out your decision at the interview, and if you were approved, you would go right next door to the cashier to pay the reciprocity fee that's required for Indonesian citizens. Now, given the extended processing, at the window, you'll either receive a rejection or you receive information that your visa is requiring additional processing. If at the end of this additional processing and expanded vetting, your visa is approved, you'll receive an email to whatever email address you put on your application form, giving you instructions on how to pay that reciprocity fee. That step happens before your visa can officially be approved. So if you check your status in the system and it still says refused, please check your email. We may have reached out to you for additional documents, or you might have an invitation to pay the fee. The payment now happens fully online. You can pay by credit card. It's a website. There's instructions that will be sent to you. But if your visa has cleared the processing step, it cannot be issued or approved until you've paid the fee. So that is part of why we're asking people to apply as early as possible, because there are now a couple of other steps that go between the interview and the issuing of your visa, and we don't want to delay that any further or risk any of you missing your start dates. We know that's very important. Where's my clicker? All right. So, as a reminder, the reciprocity fee is $195. So this is what the visa should look like if you get it. It'll have your visa class and your different kinds of visas there, and the entry, so the numbers of entries you're allowed. I would like to note that we have put out information on our social media recently, underlining the fact that the expiration date is not necessarily how long you're allowed to stay in the U.S. So you should, when you enter in the U.S., you'll be given information by Customs and Border Protection, CBP, and they will outline how long you can be in the U.S. So you need to use that information rather than your visa expiration date, because your visa expiration date is separate. Now, you should still keep an eye on your visa expiration date and stay in touch with your designated school official if that expiration date is coming up. Because while you may be authorized to stay in the U.S. for longer, if you ever leave and your visa is expired or it expires when you're out, you will not be able to re-enter even if you're still in credible student status. All right, so now we've passed the interview, you've received your visa. I'm going to talk a little bit more about what I hope you guys are all interested in, which is what comes next. So once you have the visa, what does that mean? How do you maintain your good status? How do you maintain your visa? So there are a couple of important things. When you start the process of traveling to the US, these are some things you should make sure you have. Your passport, your I-20 if you have a F visa, your DS 2019 if you have a J visa, and the contact information for your designated school official. I'll get into that a little bit more, but you should all know your designated school official and be familiar with them and know how to contact them, because they will be your biggest asset, your biggest ally throughout your time as a student. So there are a couple of caveats to the visa when it comes to maintaining your status. If you have a J1 student visa, like I said, certain programs like LPDP use this visa. If your program is paid for by the US government or the Indonesian government and you're on a J visa, so that applies to any number of scholarships, the Fulbright, etc., you are required to come back to your home country for 2 years before you could be eligible for 3 different categories of visas. The H visa, which includes the H-1B, an L visa, or a K visa. Those are all long-term work visas, and you're not eligible for those if you are studying in a J1 until you've come back. You are, however, eligible for an F or another J directly after. But again, if you are contemplating an additional visa or changing your visa status, please contact your designated school official because they'll be able to walk you through the appropriate steps to do that and make sure you do so in a way that doesn't risk your current status. Okay, so now I'm going to talk more specifically about the requirements for maintaining your status in the US. So there are a couple of things you should keep in mind. Once your visa is issued, that does not necessarily mean you can go to the US anytime you'd like. There will be clear instructions on the visa, but I'm going to reiterate for you now, you cannot enter the US more than 30 days before the start of your program. And that is, let me be clear, the start date on your I-20 or your DS 2019. I understand that a lot of schools have orientation programs that start earlier. You are not allowed to enter 30 days before that orientation program if that orientation program start date is not listed on your form. So it is 30 days before the start date listed on your I-20 or DS 2019. That's very important in terms of making your plans and your legal access to the US. Now, this other bit is equally important. I know a lot of you may not be thinking about this yet, but it's important to look ahead. Once your program has ended, you have a limited amount of time that you are allowed to stay in the US as a student at the end of your program. That accounts for things like graduation. We understand that there may be programs that you want to attend. That's included within the visa, but you need to be very careful. So under an F visa, you have 60 days or approximately 2 months after the end date of your program. Again, what's listed on your form. And for a J visa, you have 30 days after that to leave. I know we get a lot of parents at the window coming to visit their children for graduation, wanting to travel afterwards. That might feel like a long way out for some of you, but just keep that in mind. All of that would have to be within this time limit. And again, anytime you're entering the US or leaving the US, please contact your designated school official. They will be the ones to help guide you throughout this process. So that leads us very nicely to our next slide. Like I mentioned earlier, your designated school official is your biggest asset, your ally throughout the student process. They will help you maintain your status. And to do that, there are a couple of things you should keep them abreast of, okay? So you should reach out to them anytime there's a change that could impact your status as a student. So whether you are dropping a class, changing your major, whether you want to transfer, those are obviously allowed, but there are ways to do it so it doesn't impact your visa status. So you have to go through your designated school official. They will walk you through the appropriate process, the appropriate channels to make those changes. Anytime you would like to take a break or you need to travel outside the US, again, contact your designated school official, or if you're trying to extend or change your program. If at any point you have any issues with the SEVIS system, you can also contact your designated school official for that, or you can use the email up on the website there, up on the slide. So this is, I would say, if you're paying any attention to this presentation at all, this is one of the most important slides. There are a couple things you should know before you enter the US as a student, how you can maintain your status. I'd like to start by saying, as a reminder, the vetting I mentioned earlier does not stop once you've received your visa. There is continuous and constant vetting of students, of visa holders, before the visa has been issued and once the visa has been issued. So there are a couple of things that we would recommend that you do or do not do in order to maintain that status so that throughout the process of constant vetting, you remain eligible for the visa that you're holding. So here are a couple of them. Please take the time to read it, but I just want to go over them. You have to attend and pass all your classes. You must be studying full time. So that means at least 12 credit hours per term. If that changes, again, please contact your designated school official. They will walk you through that process, but it could risk the current status of your visa. So please be careful if you're making those changes that you do that in the appropriate manner so that you remain eligible in whatever status you're under. I'd like to reiterate very clearly, you're not allowed to work without permission. I'll get into that in the next slide, the ways that you could work, but in your first year, for most programs, unless you're eligible for CPT, you cannot be working. So if that's your plan, change it immediately. You're not allowed to take time away from classes for more than 5 months to maintain your status. Again, if you have plans to take time away from classes at all, please run it by your designated school official. They will explain to you the proper ways to do so and make sure you have the support and help you need to make those changes. Do not break your school's rules. That should go without saying. And do not engage in any unlawful activity. Again, I'd like to reiterate that your visa is subject to constant vetting and scrutiny, and so you must maintain your status in these ways. So we get this question a lot, so I wanted to dedicate a couple of minutes to talk about it. The idea of working as a student. So there are a couple of ways you can, but like I said, it's regulated by another body, and there are restrictions on the kind of work you can do. So if you are an F1 visa holder, you can work up to 20 hours a week on campus. Again, this is through your designated school official. They will authorize this work. They will say whether or not that's allowed under your visa, whether that's allowed under the parameters of the school. They will explain that to you. After a full academic year, F1 visa holders are eligible for something called optional practical training, which you may have heard of by its acronym OPT. That can cover 20 hours a week of work or an internship when your school is in session, or it can be a full-time internship or a job during summer holidays or after you graduate. It's important to note that OPT must be related to your degree program. So working, for example, at a coffee shop or at a bookstore is not covered or authorized unless it is an on-campus job. I'd like to reiterate, like I said in the previous slide, that any unauthorized work, whether it's part-time, whether you're paid in cash, whether you're helping out a friend, it can result in you losing your visa status. So please, please follow the rules. Contact your designated school official before you make any such decision. Okay, we're almost at the end here, and then I'll open it up to questions, but I want to just make it clear that there are some severe consequences if you do not follow the rules that have been laid out here, the information that's provided to you on your forms and by your designated school official in terms of maintaining status. As a student, with the F1 or a J1 visa, you are authorized to be in the US as a student. If you've completed your program, if you violate the terms of the visa, if you don't depart in time, if you are terminated, those are all subject to severe consequences. So please, please follow the rules of the visa. Overstaying it is against the law. Misusing it is against the law, and doing so, you can be detained, deported, or barred from future entry. So there are severe consequences. I just want to lay it out here so you know that ahead of time, and you're able to, follow the rules and maintain your status. So these are some, I'm going to leave these up while we open up to questions. These are some good links for information related to student visas and student travel. And we have a couple of handouts that we're going to provide as you leave or at the end of the session that have information for next steps, if you're applying, contact information, just a one-pager that we provided about the visa process. Thank you.
All right, that was so good. All right, give a round of applause to Tara. There's a lot of information that Tara mentioned, especially for the one that she talked about how to maintain a status visa while studying in the United States. All right. So right now we have a couple of minutes for Q&A. So if you have a question, you can raise your hand. I saw couples. All right.
Good afternoon. My name is Bang. I've heard that many F1 visa applicants undergo additional administrative processing after the interview, which can delay the visa decision by several days. Is this process mandatory for everyone? And are there any steps I can take to increase my chances of receiving immediate approval? And are there specific things I should avoid to reduce the likelihood of administrative processing? And also, if I may, I have second question. My wife plans to join me later as an F2 dependent, meaning she will apply for her visa after I've already arrived in the US. I understand that the F2 I-20 requires proof of 1 year's worth of living expenses. If I can only provide financial proof for 1 year, how would we handle the second year? Would she need to return to Indonesia and reapply for a new visa? Or is it possible to extend or update her F2 status from within the US? Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you. I'm going to ask a quick clarification question for your second question. Your question is, how long is the visa valid for, or how long are you providing funds for?
Yeah, if I can only provide financial proof for only 1 year, which is required at least 1 year of living expenses by the I-20 from my campus, we'll need to renew our visa for F2 and then go back to Indonesia and then apply again.
Sure. So I'm going to answer your first question first, then I'll get to the second question.
Sure.
So for your first question, like I said, under the current guidance, all F, M, and J visa applicants are subject to expanded vetting. So there is nothing you can do to not be subject to that expanded vetting. All F, M, J visa applicants, including F2s and dependents. For your second question, it's going to be dependent on the officer adjudicating the case. Like you said, the requirement is for only 1 year's worth of finances. If the officer has additional questions, they'll ask additional questions. But once your visa is issued, your wife's visa will be valid for the entirety of the period of validity it's issued for. You won't have to renew it until it reaches that period. I cannot tell you what that will be because I don't have your information in front of me. Does that answer your question?
Yes. Maybe the first question, are there any specific things I should avoid to reduce the likelihood of the delay of the administrative process?
So like I said, all F, M, and J visas are currently experiencing longer processing times because of the expanded vetting. We're telling people to expect that. There's nothing you can do to change the processing time. What we would like to suggest is, like I said, we recommend that everybody, when you're applying for that visa, open up your social media accounts to public. If they're not public, that could delay it further. But we're telling all F, M, and J student applicants or visa applicants to expect longer processing times because of the expanded vetting.
Thank you so much. God bless.
All right. Thank you so much. Can we take another? Yep. Yeah. Oh, okay. Go ahead. There you go. This one.
Okay, good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Arfi. I'm not yet apply F1 visa. Do the interview session need to go to US Embassy Jakarta or video only, like it stay at home and then you got a video? And can you tell me the general questions of that? And second questions, and what is the things that in US is not allowed? And if someone do that, the ICE will come to your house. I would say the second one is for awareness, because we are the international student, because that we have different rules from another country, and then many foreigners, like people from another country, not knowing ICE it is. Yeah, thank you.
Yep. So I'll answer your first question first. So for your visa interview, you have to be in person at the embassy. If you're based in Jakarta, you can come to the U.S. Embassy here. We also conduct visa interviews at the consulate in Surabaya. So wherever is closer to where you live, you can make that appointment, but it must be in person. In terms of what is going to be asked, I can't give you exact questions, but what's most important is that you show that you are a credible student. So make it clear why you want to go to study wherever you're going to study. You provide an explanation for why you picked the school, what you're hoping to do, how that aligns with your goals. Make it clear that you are a credible student. That's the most important part. As you may have heard, there's also a requirement to show finances, so be prepared to prove that you are capable of paying what you have to pay for your studies. For the second question, I have not attended an international student orientation in the States recently, but my understanding is that it's likely once you're accepted that you will receive guidance and information on how to follow the law. You'll be reminded of the school's rules and of how to maintain your legal status. Like I mentioned previously, there are a couple things you can do to make sure that you are maintaining legal status as a F, M, or J visa holder, like not working, making sure you maintain your status as a student. ICE is a separate organization from the Department of State, so I can't comment on their procedures. But again, I would encourage all students who are planning to study in the US to be aware of the US legal system, the US laws, things you can and cannot do lawfully in the US, and your school's laws, school's rules, excuse me.
Hope answer your questions, right? Okay, thank you so much. Can we have another, yeah, from that side first? Yeah. Yep.
Hi there. So my name is Asari. I'm an incoming grad student from the U Chicago. And the Department of Homeland Security has categorized my major as STEM. So they said that I can extend my stay in the States for 24 months. At least that's what they wrote on the school's website. So my question is, can I just use my J1 visa and extend it, or will I need to apply for another visa?
So I'm not entirely sure what, I haven't seen the school's website, so I don't know what they're referring to. I know that as someone studying STEM, you're eligible for STEM OPT, which is longer than the original OPT program, but you do have to apply for that separately. I would encourage you to take this question to your designated school official. If this is a school policy regarding STEM degrees, they will know how to conduct that extension accordingly. Without knowing the specifics of the program, I can't really comment. Generally speaking, I would say, like I mentioned before, when you enter the US, you're given a validity by CBP of how long you can be in the US. I would keep that in mind. If that validity changes on your end, that might have to be changed through a different visa process. You might have to exit and come back. But then if your question is about the validity of your visa, those dates are on the visa itself. Again, like I said, that does not govern how long you can be in the US. That's governed by CBP. So if your visa has expired, but CBP has authorized you to stay longer, as long as you do not exit and enter on an unexpired visa, which is not allowed, then you could likely stay in the US. But again, that's not under our purview. That's a question for your designated school official or CBP.
All right, hope it's answered your questions. Can I take you? Yep.
Hi, so I received the email to pay the reciprocity fee a little over 2 weeks ago, and I paid it on the same day, and I also received confirmation that my payment has also been received on the same day. But it's been 2 weeks, and my status still hasn't changed on the CEAC website. Can you tell me what might have happened?
So what I would encourage you to do is email the address that was on the sheet of paper you were given. I can't, without looking at your particular case details, tell you exactly what happened. I would say that if there are certain programs that have different parameters for how the visa is either given back to you or picked up, and if you are subject to one of those programs, then it might be following a different timeline. But I would say the best way to get the answers is to email the address that was on the sheet of paper you were given, and somebody will get back to you as soon as possible.
All right. Okay, so we still have another 5 minutes before we end the sessions. Okay, we can take, yes, the blue one. Yeah. I think that's the sessions. Yeah. Is that question?
Test. Okay. Yeah, Miss Tara, hi. Nice to see you again. My name is Albert Po. So, can I explain to you a little bit about my visa status right now?
Sure.
So, I'm bringing my dependent as well under F1 and F2 visa. So, we have an interview during May on 30, and my visa status right now is under administrative processing after being refused for almost 2 months. But gladly, after paying the reciprocity fee, it changes directly. And also my F2 visa, my wife still refused the status, but my little baby, she already got approved. Can I assume that this is a good sign for us to have our visa maybe in the next 1 or 2 weeks?
Again, I can't comment on specific processing times, but I would say the best, if any of you have specific case questions, I'm not going to be able to answer them right now. I would strongly encourage you to email the address on the sheet of paper you were given at the visa interview, because somebody who is able to look at your case will be able to give you specific answers and a better sense of the next steps.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Hi. I want to ask about the J1 visa. So, okay. So, I have the J1 visa, and I know it's only eligible for 1 year, but on my study, I study for graduate master degree. On the second year, I need to go outside of the America, so I think I need to extend my visa on the second year. Can I do it on other country, or should I go back to Indonesia first to extend my visa? That's my question. Thank you.
So you're going to get tired of hearing me say this, but the best person to ask that question to is your designated school official. They'll have experience with your exact visa category and handling that program. They'll be able to tell you what they've done in the past. There are certainly a lot of options available to you, but I don't want to, without knowing your specific situation, tell you which would be the best.
All right, I hope answer your questions. Can we take another? That person is in the back. Yeah, that's you. Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir, and hello, Tara. Good afternoon. My name is Fada, and my question is, I'm applying for F1 visa right now, and my master degree. If I'm not mistaken, what I catch up from your explanation that for the F1 we can extend for 60 days after the program ends. Also, we can some kind of have an OPT, right? However, what if I apply for some kind of off-campus internship that not related to the optional training program from my program, because if I'm not mistaken, my program doesn't have the OPT program. So is that is it allowed for me to continue the internship off campus program, or should I apply for another visa category? Okay, that's my question. Thank you.
Okay. So I would start with asking your designated school official, because I don't necessarily know what you mean by your program's not eligible for OPT. So I would start there. I would say that as an international student, you are sometimes limited in what you can do off campus. And I don't want to make a sweeping statement right now without knowing what the internship is and the parameters of your program. So start with asking your designated school official what's allowed and what they have done in the past.
Do you want to have follow-up questions?
Yes, is that okay? Okay, thank you so much. So I need to contact the TSO first. However, what if for my scholarship it is actually allowed to stay in the United States for 2 years after I finish my master degree. So should I apply for another visa for that 2 years if I want to stay there?
Sorry, you're saying your program is allowing you to stay for 2 years?
Not for the not the program, but my scholarship sponsor.
So your degree is going to take an additional 2 years?
No, actually, but it's for some kind of internship.
Right. So in order to work after your program, you would have to apply for OPT or a visa that would cover that. Under your F1 visa, the only way to work for a year or more would be OPT unless you apply for a different visa class. And OPT only covers 1 year of work unless you're in a STEM degree.
Okay, that's
So
understandable.
I would definitely speak with your designated school official before making any plans, because you cannot just stay in the U.S. for 2 years after your degree program without the proper authorization or application.
Okay, thanks, Tara.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we can take the last questions. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Tara. Good afternoon. Yeah, thank you for your presentation. My name is Alif. So I'm currently on a J1 visa, and I plan to bring my wife on J2 visa. And my question is like, can my wife work while on a J2 visa? And also, can she re-enter the US, for example, if she wants to go back to Indonesia and then return to the US while I'm still on the duration of study?
She can definitely re-enter as long as her visa is valid. Again, it's back to maintaining status, right? The State Department is not governing the entry. We're only in charge of maintaining the visas. So whether she's allowed entry back is up to CBP at the port of entry. But as long as her visa is valid, under the parameters of the visa, you are allowed to leave and enter until the visa is no longer valid. As for your question, I'd have to do a little bit more research to determine. It depends on the kind of work. There's some stipulations under the J's, so I don't want to give you a blanket answer.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So I think before we end the sessions, the questions from me right now, Tara. Okay, I think we got to see a lot of from news. There's like a visa integrity fee. I think if you can explain that a little bit so people can understand that.
Sure. So you may have heard about it in the news. It was passed under a bill a little while ago, but that is being implemented by DHS. So as a representative of the State Department, I can't comment on further on that, and we don't have a sense of when that will be implemented. I would encourage people to keep checking travel.state.gov because we'll put the latest information about that up there.
All right. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much, Tara, for the helpful and informative sessions. And thank you so much for your attention and your great questions and also your active participations. And if you still have a question, feel free to reach out to Education USA. And we are here to every step of the way of your journey studying US. And good luck for your study and look forward to your success in the United States. And yeah, okay, see you next time. Bye-bye. Take care.
Thank you very much, Mas Iqbal, along with Tara, for the very insightful session. If you still have any other questions or concerns, you can always reach out to Education USA advisors, or there will be a booth in front of this auditorium in the exhibition area, and we will be handing out a little bit of flyer regarding the visa, so you may take a look on that. And once again, can we give another big round of applause for all wonderful speakers along with our amazing moderators for today's very insightful event. And now stick around for a special message from the student community, PERMIAS Nasional. Therefore, I will be passing the floor to Felice Nathania Pudya, the president of PERMIAS Nasional, and also Gizelle Clevanka, West Coast 3 community leader of PERMIAS Nasional.
Test. Hi, future leaders. Welcome to our community. I think it's only fitting to call everyone here future leaders because you will be the future leaders of Indonesia. And we also have our chapter leaders and also officers from PERMIAS Nasional here today. So welcome everyone, welcome to the community.
All right, I'm Gizelle Clevanka. I'm a junior student in the University of Washington studying public health, and I am PERMIAS Nasional's community leader of West Coast 3, as well as secretary of PERMIAS Seattle.
And I'm Felice. I am currently a master's student at Columbia University studying applied analytics. I've been with PERMIAS Nasional since 2020, so it's quite a while, and currently I'm serving as PERMIAS Nasional's president. So without further ado, we'll introduce PERMIAS Nasional. So PERMIAS stands for Persatuan Mahasiswa Indonesia di Amerika Serikat. PERMIAS Nasional itself, we are the national organization for all Indonesian Student Association in the United States. You'll probably also observe as we go through the slides, we'll be seeing PERMIAS chapters. Their names might be PERMIAS or ISA or Indonesia at university, for example. So our names would vary a bit, but we're all PERMIAS. And we're also a nonprofit. We're an established nonprofit in the United States and also in Indonesia. We are established by students, run by active students as well, and it's all we do is for students. So the vision and mission that we have in PERMIAS Nasional is pretty similar year to year. All we want is that our students succeed professionally, academically, and also celebrate culture as well. So with our vision and mission, we created 4 departments, which is academics, professional development, publication and promotions, and organizational development. So here in the audience, we also have Dina and also Ivana. Can you please stand? So if you guys want to ask further about PERMIAS Nasional, feel free to ask them. And we'll go to the next one. So our first department is academics. We have 4 major programs: Compass Series, Warekada, PERMIAS Bicara, Focus Room. I'll elaborate on that a bit further later. So essentially, as the name states, academics, we're basically talking about academic life, student life, and we also talk about research and academia, basically. We will also kind of like create events online. Typically, all of our events are online because we're spread across the whole United States. It's only feasible if we do it online. So the first one's Compass Series. We have our program manager here today, Gabby. If you could stand up, Gabby. Oh, there she is. Okay, so Gabby is here. If you have any questions about Compass Series, you could ask her. Compass Series basically talks about just studying in the US, how applying to the US as well, social life, and all of our speakers are really current students, moderated by current students as well. We have one upcoming event, which is about the LLM, and coming soon would be about MBA. So if you guys want to plan ahead and maybe in the future want to take LLM or MBA, this is the program for you. So the next one's Warekada. Warekada in Bugis language means to speak. This program, we're talking about STEM-related topics, or we also talk about professional or academic experiences in the US. We have a lot of topics ranging from academics or academia, or even like current issues. Usually we bring in professionals or current students to talk about it. The next one's PERMIAS Bicara. Actually, before that, let me see your hands. Who's interested in research? Anyone interested in research? Awesome. We have a couple of hands. But maybe down the line, who knows, you're into research. So PERMIAS Bicara talks about research done by Indonesians in the US. So we usually do it in a video format or a text format where we kind of showcase everyone's research. And the other one would be Focus Room. Our project officer here today, Shakira, if you could stand up. Is Shakira? Sorry. Oh, there you are. Okay, Shakira is here. She is the project officer for Focus Room. So if you have any questions about it. So it's basically we're trying to create a community for researchers. This includes undergraduate, graduate, and also PhD students in research. So if you're interested to join this community, feel free to join permias.org/Discord invite. We're currently building a community there. This also just launched, I think today we just launched it. So feel free to join in. And probably you're wondering why there's a workup by PERMIAS Nasional. So This would continue to the next slide, which is professional development. So professional development has two main projects that we do. First one is WorkUp. So WorkUp started our Discord community. WorkUp is, we do skill building series over there where past events includes like consulting and other skill building sessions. So if you're interested in it, this is the program for you. And then our biggest event, usually everyone looks forward to, is the career series. We partner with the Indonesian Professionals Association in the US to do this. And usually we bring in companies to pitch about their company and maybe show career opportunities in the US or in Indonesia. We usually started off as offline networking. So this is usually done with chapters, individually in chapter locations. Then we continue it off in online networking. And then we just did our spring career fair. And we will be doing fall career fair. That is something new for us this year, that we're going to have a fall career fair. And we also have an officer here, Jane. Can you stand up? Okay, Jane's up there. So if you have any questions about the career series, feel free to ask her. Okay, and then we have publications and promotions. This is basically where our social media is, all of our designs, video editing, and also website building. We just had our new website again. And so feel free to check it out. We have most of our information over there, and we're still developing it as well. And so right now we have Jessica in the audience. Jessica's over there. So if you have any questions about publications and promotions, feel free to ask about her. Feel free to ask her, sorry. And then we have social media. Basically, this year we are also focusing on social media because we want to make sure that our chapters are shown, what they do, the activities, and we want to make sure that everyone is highlighted, whether it's like sports achievement, academic achievement, competitions. We want to make sure that everyone, our students, are being showcased on our social media. So in case you haven't followed, subscribed, please do so. All of our updates are typically on Instagram. Okay. And now it's the organizational development session. I'll pass it back to Gizelle.
All right, thank you so much, Felice. So I would like to point out that we're so happy to announce that we have around 80 to 90 chapters registered in PERMIAS Nasional as of now. And maybe you guys are wondering, how do we keep track of the so many regions that we have? So we have community leaders, and our aim is to be able to be a bridge between PERMIAS Nasional and chapters as well. So in terms of like addressing concerns or challenges, so our community leaders will be happily being able to help chapters in terms of, being able to make sure that they feel connected and valued as well. So here for community leaders, we have from the East Coast is Axel. That's East Coast 1 and 3. We have Intan from East Coast 2. We have Jason for Midwest 1, Archangela for Midwest 2. And for West Coast, we have Brams for West Coast 1, Kathleen for West Coast 2, and me, myself, West Coast 3. And of course, from South, we have Kelly, who is here today. So if you have any questions in regards to being a community leader, please feel free to reach out to Kelly later during our networking session later on. All right, so moving on. So we want to point out our Director of Org Dev, Tim, who's here today. And of course, unfortunately, Kathleen can't be here today, but she is our co-director. And I want to point out on focusing on organizational and development, we have 4 points to really keep note of. And first, is to be able to engage with chapters. Second is to become a liaison between chapters as well. Third is to support and collaboration with chapters. And of course, fourth is to highlight achievements of chapters as well. So from organizational development, we do have a lot of events as well and agendas, and we're really proud of our PERMIAS chapter monthly heads meetings, and these are via Discord as well as GatherTown. And our recent one is our PERMIAS chapter spotlight, as you can see right here. And these are to address chapters that are actively in PERMIAS Nasional and to see in each region. All right, moving on. All right. So moving on, it really is normal for us as students to feel homesick. I myself feel that way as well. And it really is nice that, and we really want to appreciate chapters who take the time to make events as well, to make the states feel at home. And these are the different types of chapter events that they usually make. These are sport events for you guys who are actively engaging in, let's say, basketball or badminton. We also have IndoFest, in which chapters tend to invite guest stars from Indonesia as well. Let's say from Harmony LA, they were able to invite Tulus, as well as Keraton from ISAU, and of course holiday events as well. So chapters are really fond of being able to gather with other Indonesian students, let's say during Thanksgiving or even winter holidays as well.
Probably just to add a little bit on that is that know that you're not alone. So in the entire United States, we have about 9,000 students. That includes like whether you're an Indonesian citizen or maybe Indonesians who are currently a diaspora. Everyone's kind of like, as long as you're Indonesian, you're welcome in our community. So there's about 9,000 of Indonesians in the United States. And so just to know you're not alone.
All right, so moving on. So as mentioned earlier, we are so grateful to be able to invite our chapter leaders here today. So please stand up, as well as our PERMIAS National officers. So feel free to reach out to them after this, because we have a networking event right after this, right? And
so let's have everyone stand up. Chapter leaders, let's stand up.
So familiarize yourself with these faces all around you right now, coming from different regions and different chapters as well. So
yeah, feel free to reach out to them. I think throughout the slides, we also showcase each of our officers' university. So if your chapter might not be represented today, you could always ask our officers today for any questions about university or just US life. And that kind of concludes our presentation. So we'll give it back to the host.
Yes, thank you very much to Felice and also Gizelle for the very helpful presentation and very, very informative to our friends who are going to study in the US. Find your networks. Don't forget to reach out to people who you might think will be helpful for you. And that wraps our special event for today. Can we give a big round of applause for everybody who is involved in this event? And thank you so much for all of you who is staying with us until at the very end of this event. Stay tuned for upcoming events here only at America by visiting our website at www.atamerica.org.id and follow us on our Instagram, Facebook, and X, also YouTube channel at AT America. And if you wish to watch more of our events, and also if you wish to rewatch this event, feel free to visit our YouTube channel at AT America. We have everything there. And with that, my name is Hasna. Again, thank you so much again for joining us today. My name is Hasna, and see you on the next At America event. Bye bye, everybody. Oke, teman-teman silakan ya kalau mau reach out ke visa konsuler, mau networking sama sesama fellow student.